before we get into it, this podcast is brought to you by 3Chi. We love 3Chi. I'm not a drug guy, but I am a 3Chi guy. I love 3Chi. I love their oils. I love their edibles. I love their gummies. I love their tinctures. You can go to 3chi.com to shop for Delta 8 vapes, gummies, tinctures, and oils. You can make homemade edibles. 3Chi is the industry leader in Delta 8 THC products. Their Delta 8 THC is a federally legal version of THC. It's formulated by a biochemist. It's made in the USA with USA-grown hemp. It's a more functional alternative to marijuana. You get an amazing buzz. You get great body feel, but you get a clear head, less anxiety, less paranoia. You can go online at 3chi.com. That's the number 3chi.com. And at select retailers around the country. You have to be 21 to purchase. Remember, it's not CBD. It's psychoactive. It's going to give you a buzz, so use it responsibly. Go to 3chi.com. Use promo code MACRO at checkout. Get 5% off your entire order. That's promo code MACRO at checkout. Get 5% off at 3chi.com. Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is the only podcast that you can download on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Xvideos, the Hamsterdam's website. You can find us everywhere online, basically. We are a podcast by and for the internet. We got me, Arian Foster, Coley Mick, Billy, Big T, Mad Dog, Avery, all here today. Another full house, and we're back at it. Before we get into today's topic, which is going to be sleep, we'll see how long we can get before getting into sleep. I think last episode we went, 50 minutes before we talked about the Iraq War? Wanted to touch in with Arian here to talk about his weekend because I just read from your tweet, Arian, you went to a treasure hunt this weekend?
I made a treasure hunt, yeah.
You made a treasure hunt?
Yeah, I made a treasure hunt. It's some real dad shit. So there's like these little pieces of paper that we got from some shit that we ordered, and they looked like treasure maps to me. And I was like, yo, we should do a treasure hunt. And so like I cut up a whole bunch of pieces of those things and placed clues all over the house that led to other clues and eventually led to a big like chest full of like fake gold and diamonds, and then they had like cool toys and shit like that. Pretty cool.
That's sick.
It is pretty dope.
It sounds like a good time. I can't wait to be a dad just so I can do like Easter egg hunt stuff. That's really
fun, man.
That's really the only thing about parenthood that I would be looking forward to, because every time I've been doing a lot of traveling recently, and every time I go through an airport, I just see families traveling with little kids, and it's like, okay, I'm never going to have sex again because I never want to have to like board a plane with a child. It seems like the worst thing ever.
I don't know, man. I think kids are kind of like dogs.
No.
You hate them.
Hold on.
You hate them all, Dad.
Whoa. All right. We got Casey Anthony Foster.
Hold on. Let me qualify that statement. Like, what I found because I used to have a dog, lost him in the divorce. But what I found though is like dogs are usually like their dog owners, right? Like if you're a piece of shit, your dog's probably a piece of shit.
Yeah.
If you're like a really good person, like your dogs might be really good person. So like kids react to like their environment, and so if they're used to like getting their way and they're like always like greedy and gimme, like that's because of the environment that the parents have cultivated in their house. And so when they're out in public, like I don't really shun it because like sometimes kids just want to be kids, right? So it don't really bother me. But like I could just have had my kids being amazing, right? I just could have 4 kids that just happen to be amazing. But like I've never had any trouble with them on planes. Like they don't be screaming and they don't be throwing themselves on the floor and throwing tantrums because I don't play that shit in my house, and I don't hit them. I'll never hit my kid. It's just I treat them like I feel like you should treat them, and it came out all right, man. Hopefully they don't do anything crazy. But I don't know, man. That's my take on parenting.
I hear what you're saying, because I think a lot of people are, at least in America, they look at having kids as being they almost overparent, right? And so when they start to overparent, then it becomes an issue with like different types of problems. Like helicopter parents and school teachers absolutely can't stand them. They think everything that happens to their child is like a big deal. Every interaction they have, they're either like getting bullied or there's something weird going on. And whereas if you take more of like the European approach, which is like be a good example, teach them, protect them, but let them make their own mistakes a little bit, then they end up being more well-adjusted. So I guess all that's to say, Coley, you should spend less time with your child.
Done. I'll let the wife know. This is official advice from PFT. She'll have no problems with this.
PFT suggests going with more of the Scandinavian model for raising your child.
We're going to build her a dog house out back. She can learn to live off the land.
I mean, that's a big thing for Maine. Don't a lot of people up in Maine basically live out the plot of the book Hatchet, which is just like you make a lean-to, you build a fire every night, and you try to kill something if you can.
It's wild. Like when I was in the process of like looking at houses up here, I was like, most of the like, there's not a lot of fenced-in yards. Because people just stick to themselves and they're not worried about having nosy neighbors. But like my dogs aren't used to just being able to roam free. So I was like what's like the permit pulling process? Like I know in Massachusetts, like it's a fucking hassle to build a fence on your own property. And like the realtor just laughed in my face. They're like, you can do whatever the fuck you want out here. As long as you're not bothering anyone else, have at it. Like Maine's kind of lawless in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I find that a lot of northern states, like far northern states, are kind of like that, where it's like, if you can survive by doing it and it's not hurting anybody else, then go for it. Like we don't have time. We don't have time to enforce non-animal rescue related phone calls. If there's a bear that's currently attacking you, we will be there to help you out. But anything else you do on your property is between you and God.
Yeah, I've yet to see a bear, which I'm very thankful for. But there's this roving, I can only call them a gang, of about 9 turkeys that just run amok in this neighborhood, and I'm gonna have to do something about it sooner or later.
And they're called the Boston Red Sox.
Thanksgiving coming up, so
yeah, I mean it's definitely a mom and a dad. I don't want to assume their gender, but it appears to be a mom and a dad and all of their kids, and they walk around with their heads high and their chests out like they run the fucking place.
Wild turkeys are delicious. They're like mostly dark meat. They're more rich, right?
I'll find out.
Yeah.
Let us know.
I have a lot of questions about turkeys, and I still haven't really got any satisfactory answers to them. But I want to know, how come we don't eat turkey eggs in this country? I know that we talked about it like a little bit, but I've been thinking about it more. I feel like turkey eggs, I would really enjoy a turkey egg. It would be giant. It would be like a Billy. That's the key to gains, probably.
I think. Didn't I research it? It was like they're not economical to produce.
Yeah, but still, they lay them at some point, so
right.
I should be able to find a turkey egg if I really wanted one.
True.
It just says it's like economically inefficient.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. Like you can't have a turkey egg farm because then you've just got a lot of turkeys that are producing like 1 egg a week or every month or however infrequently it is, which that doesn't scale, but they do lay eggs, so I feel like I should be able to buy a turkey egg.
Yeah, just make them way more, like caviar is more expensive because it's harder to come across, I imagine. Like if these are harder to come across, just boost the price. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, they just go straight to ostrich eggs at that point. Because they sell ostrich eggs.
There's levels, like this can be right in the middle.
Yeah, but it's like, if you want bigger eggs, like, might as well get an ostrich.
PFT doesn't want bigger. He wants turkey.
I want turkey specifically. It's marginally bigger than a normal egg. But I don't, I'm not looking to go from 6 to midnight here.
I think ostriches probably lay more eggs than turkeys. I think that's what's going on.
How much you want to bet? There's no way that an ostrich lays more egg than a turkey.
Is big ostrich in your pockets, Billy? What's this ostrich lobbying you're doing?
Look, I've been to a couple of farmers markets and encountered a couple ostrich ranchers.
He's got ostrich jerky on his desk. You are a shill for the ostrich lobby, aren't you?
You really are.
Hey, get your head out of the sand.
Oh, boy.
Which is not really a thing. They don't really do that, right? That's just kind of like a fable.
I don't know. I don't know much about ostriches. We need to look into those big giant.
I thought I read.
birds.
I could be wrong, but I thought I read something with it. They don't actually do that. But I could be wrong.
My theory is that every ostrich is just a pedophile dressed up in a suit, looking to lay low for a while. I don't think that they actually exist. I think it's all a bunch of mascots.
They don't bury their hand in the sand. They use their head to like dig holes and use as nests for their eggs.
Wow. So some asshole saw ostrich like taking care of his kids and be like, "Oh, you're just avoiding responsibility."
Fucking coward. Yeah, look at this pussy. Yeah.
Like the exact opposite. That's a tough break for the ostriches.
Yeah, this guy won't look me in the face like a man.
What a dick.
So ostriches lay 40 to 130 eggs a year. How many eggs do turkeys lay?
I'm gonna guess more than that.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess. Oh, let's get everybody's guess.
100 eggs.
God damn it, Billy! You took the fun out of that. Damn, Billy, shot straight from the hip, bro. That'd have been a fun little round table guess, but whatever, bro.
He jumped the gun. Arian, you'll have to forgive Billy. We're recording at 1:20 right now, 1:20 p.m. on Monday, and Billy is a little upset. Billy doesn't like doing these morning recordings.
They're not more. It's just there's a lot to do in the day to prepare for the show
Yeah.
and everything. And just I would prefer if we did it how we usually did it at 4:30.
Yeah, I understand. Also, my brain doesn't really start working until right around 5 p.m. But today we had a bunch of other stuff going on with scheduling, so we had to bump it earlier. I don't mind the earlier recordings. I just think maybe sometime in the middle, like 2:30 or 3. That's
I kind of like this one. I got the whole day now. You know, after this, I'm gonna go get a drink, maybe.
well. Why don't we leave it up to all the dose heads out there and let us know if you like this podcast. Does this podcast turn out better than the ones that we record later? Sound off in the comments section.
Yeah, vibe check on the episodes that are recorded earlier in the day.
Vibe check. Yeah.
Dose heads is just what came to the top of my head. It's kind of a bad name. The Dose Bros.
I thought we were the Macrodosians.
Macrodosians, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't think we can give them a nickname. They have to give themselves a nickname.
Yeah, it's just whatever's. If you guys want a nickname, you figure it out. We can't do everything around here. Show some responsibility. Don't be an ostrich.
Don't be an ostrich.
I had one embrace debate I wanted to get into before we talked about sleep and dreams, which is I think going to be an interesting topic for today's show. There's been a lot of talk about veganism in the news recently. Cade Cunningham, first overall pick, he's a vegan. I think Justin Fields has experimented with a vegan diet as well for the Chicago Bears. Do you guys think, is honey vegan?
Mm-mm.
No.
Vegans can't eat honey
Why not?
because it's bees that
it's
create
an
it.
it's an animal product, or
Just
it's a product
it's
that
a-
is of not
Animal labor.
It's plant based. Well, like, so there's two different kind of vegans, right? There's vegans because I went vegan. That shit went like before, like there were vegan restaurants. A lot of them, anyway. Like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. were debating on First Take, like Arian Foster went vegan. It was fucking stupid. But there's two kind of vegans. One of them do it for health reasons, and the other one does it for like ethical reasons. I'm sure there's a Venn diagram. But so bees create honey, and taking that from them is unethical to a lot of vegans.
Huh.
Could you argue though that like bees produce kind of all food, both plant and otherwise? So could you
bees
argue
are
that vegans
fucking-
shouldn't eat anything?
So like technically plants are alive, right? And so you have to kill them in order to eat them. I have thought about that philosophically, but I think they'll rest on the fact that plants don't have central nervous system, and so anything that doesn't feel pain, I think they're like, okay, you can consume.
There was a short story about this guy who's testing like sound frequencies, and basically he was like in his workshop, and all of a sudden he just heard a bunch of screams through the radio, and he like changed the frequency, then he turned it back, and there was just a bunch of screams, and like it was like a really cool concept. And then outside there was a guy mowing the lawn, and he'd tapped into plants' frequency of like their like communication, and basically as all the grass blades were getting cut, they're all just screaming in pain, and it was kind of just like, yeah, plants feel. And it was like I can't remember what the story was called.
Well, I think that I don't know if you can say like because it's a product of their labor. Do the bees, do they suffer in any way, shape, or form if you take their honey, or does it just inspire them to make more honey?
It'd be like a factory farm or a slave plantation, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. Is it, or is it like if let's just say that there's an artist in a room and they paint murals on every single wall, and then you come in and you remove the murals and you give them new blank canvases, wouldn't the artists be happy with that? They'd be like, thank you for giving me more room to create. I feel like we're almost doing the bees a favor.
Well, they're storing the honey for winter.
They don't need it in winter.
No, but we're just stealing the reserves.
We're taking care of winter with global warming. They don't need. They'll be fine. It'll be permanent summer for these bees.
They just get on the same game plan we have for them. I don't understand.
Where do lobsters fall for ethical reasons? Because lobsters can't die naturally.
Hang on, say that again.
Yeah, no.
Lobsters can't die.
Lobsters can't. Let me pull it up. So
Time out.
There's a bunch
lobsters
of
are immortal.
Yeah,
lobsters are immortal.
It sounds like Coley moved to Maine, and the welcome pamphlet that came in his mailbox was very descriptive and educational.
He's right. There's a couple of animals like this that can't die unless an outside force kills them.
Jellyfish.
Yeah, jellyfish. There was a type of jellyfish. I think turtles are giant tortoises.
No,
I remember very vividly. Nemo asked his dad to ask the tortoises 150, dude. I believe if I'm quoting him correctly.
But I think that's when something kills them.
No, that's like typical old age for the tortoises. The tortoises, they can, the giant ones like in the Galapagos, the Pinta Island tortoise, they can get from 100 to like 160 naturally. I'm telling you,
but they die because something kills them.
Yeah, like, old age.
Right, but yeah.
The thing with lobsters, this was a Twitter thread that went viral a few years ago by Junius_64. Lobsters do not die of old age. The only thing time does to a lobster is make it bigger and bigger if the environmental conditions are normal. This is because they have a secret molecular trick over all us rubes, constant production of telomerase. So basically it's like the same thing that grows cancer in humans is very similar to what grows the lobsters, and it just keeps growing. There's nothing that stops it from growing. They always just molt their shells, and then the shells become bigger and harder to the point where like there are theoretically lobsters in the ocean floor that are like 50 pounds that just cannot move because they're kind of prisoners in their own body because it just keeps growing and growing. It does not kill them, but it does cause them to become immobile and not be able to walk around and do anything, but they won't die naturally. So when I always viewed boiling lobsters as like maybe the most cruelest way we cook animals, but it is kind of like their Valhalla moment. That is their sweet release to the other side that they would not get any other way. I guess that I'm sure lobsters have natural prey in the ocean, but other than us plucking them and dropping them into boiling pots of water, they just don't die.
It says, I found a thing that says that they, like every time they molt, they can die of exhaustion during a molt if they get big enough.
Yeah.
So it's not like an outside source, but it's not just like a natural death. It's like something happening to them.
Right. And that's where like they can get exhausted. That's like towards the end. Like a younger, like 4-pound lobster wouldn't die from exhaustion. It would be like a fucking 40-pound lobster that's just like, I can't do this anymore, dude.
Tap out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's eating lobsters is like euthanasia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. We're heroes. Dr. Death, baby. I don't know. Going back to the honey thing, I feel like it's like saying if a baker, I can't eat his cupcakes because that's a product of his labor. Like bees are doing what they love all the time.
But you
creating this beautiful substance.
We just need to pay the bees.
Pay the bees.
You pay the baker for his labor. We just need to
pay
the bees.
But the baker isn't the stuff that the baker is selling isn't what's in his like cupboard that he's storing for like in case of a rainy day to feed his family.
Could be.
They just haven't gotten a good enough offer yet.
We have to pay the bees. Connor's right. Connor's right. At least name, image, and likeness.
Sure,
for the bees.
Absolutely. Let them earn their own. Let them earn money off their own honey.
Yes.
Can we get a Barstool athlete bee?
Yeah. We'll sponsor a bee.
Is there a team? I guess Georgia Tech is the Yellow Jackets.
A whole hive.
There's no.
Yeah, a whole hive.
Or should we just get a hive? I think urban beekeeping is like we could get a hive in the city.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that white lady on TikTok who just like doesn't look like she handles bees, but she'll just walk no fucking suit into a beehive and just be like calmly explain how she's doing this shit, and the whole time like I'm cringing
anxiety.
like that shit's insane.
Texas
bro.
Bee Works or whatever. Yeah, I've seen that lady. She's got there with like perfectly washed horse girl hair, and she'll just stroll up to a hive, and she's like, "Luckily, I had an extra queen in my pocket," and she just pulls a queen bee out of her pocket and then puts it in the hive. There was big beekeeping drama going on this couple weeks ago. Some people were saying that she was a fraud. Some people were saying that it got real ugly. There were some other woman beekeepers saying, I think her husband goes in there before her and cuts up the hive for her. Real sexist shit going back and forth. But I think I stand with a Texas bee girl. I think I'm a bee girl guy.
So my uncle actually keeps bees. And
of course
he's surprising fact I've heard on this show so far.
He was saying that she was probably smoking them before. Like there's a thing that beekeepers do where they smoke.
I know. I watched the bee movie.
Yeah, they smoke the hives to chill out the bees.
By smoke, you mean like they inject smoke onto the hive?
Yeah, they like billow smoke is the proper word, I think, into the hive, and it chills out all the bees. I think it has to do with CO2 and not enough oxygen, but it makes them calm. And then she goes in. She's not just like going in willy-nilly while the hive's like super active.
Uh-huh.
So it's a little bit of fake news going on, a little bit of propaganda she's showing us.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of beekeepers do that with the smoke.
But like the way the TikTok portrays is like she's just like going up to a random hive. That's just like.
I think that might be a little bit of conjecture on our part though, because she never says I'm going to this untouched beehive. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like she's doing a bad thing. I think people are kind of blowing it up, but I mean.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, in Thailand, those tiger parks where all the tigers are just doped up on sedatives, and like some guys walking in like, you know, in alligator wrestlers, they purposely take the alligators and they put them in cold places, like before they do all the tricks where they put their hands in their mouth and stuff. Because when the alligators get really cold, they like are dopes and like sleepy and don't move. So then all those tricks that they're doing is just because like the alligator's like half asleep because it's cold.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
they basically freeze the alligators.
So like if you see, I was at a roadside. I was in Florida recently, and I was at a roadside like alligator place. So I kind of like to check those out when I'm on vacation.
Of course, yeah.
And I realized that before they do like one of the alligator shows, they put them in the shade in a small pool that's like usually out of the sun. So then their body temperature drops a ton. So then like, you know, Alligator Joe who goes in there is just like, he knows that the alligator's not active at all, so he can just go fuck with it.
We got to make like a map, like a map of the United States for Billy, filled with all the weirdest like soon to be declared unethical roadside attractions and have you go to them before they get closed down for good. Like all the gator wrestling places. There's a place down south of Austin called the Snake Farm that I'm sure that you love to go to. I know that in Georgia there's a place that's like a Joe Exotic type animal. They call it a rescue, but it's just like a guy that's collected tigers, I think.
There's the one near Mount Rushmore, which is like just a ton of bears. I think it's called Bear City.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
or it's like Bear Mountain.
Pretty original name.
There was one of those up in Vancouver. I was there a couple years ago, and at the top of one of the mountains that they just had like these 4 giant grizzly bears that were just sitting next to very, very skinny wire metal fences that were only about, I don't know, 3.5, 4 feet tall. The bears could have very easily walked over them. So I was standing like right next to a bear. It takes your breath away.
Yeah, Bear Country, USA.
Bear Country, USA. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to put together a map of these roadside attractions for Billy to go check out and do a book report on.
Speaking of Mount Rushmore, I meant to talk to you about this last week, and I forgot. You watched National Treasure 2.
I did, yeah.
I was tweeting about it.
I saw National Treasure 2 for the first time 2 weeks ago.
How was it?
Incredible.
I know.
Better
Classic,
than the first.
was it?
Yeah, I think it's better than the
agree.
first.
Way better than the first.
I agree.
I don't know where else they can go with it. I mean, I am obviously going to see National Treasure 3 when it comes out, but I mean, they went inside Mount Rushmore for this.
You dare doubt Nicolas Cage? You dare doubt Nicolas Cage.
Right. It's called, the second one's called Book of Secrets. They don't even really touch on the book. Like, they get the Book of Secrets, but they barely, like, open it.
Right.
We're talking aliens, conspiracies, cover-ups.
Yeah.
Bro, we can go anywhere with
We
this.
don't know what was on page 47. He looked at page 47, and he's going to talk about with the president who he kidnapped. But yeah, it's a great, great movie. Yeah, his kidnapping the president was like the third biggest part of the plot into the movie.
It was such a pleasant kidnapping, though.
Oh yeah. They were friends. It was a very friendly kidnapping.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that plays the president in that movie?
Oh shoot, what's
Isn't
that
it
guy's
the guy
name?
that looks like George Bush?
Whoever it is, like,
Nah.
looks the most like a president of anyone who's ever played the
Oh,
president.
I disagree. There are two guys that come to mind
Bruce
immediately.
Greenwood was that guy.
He does look like a great president. I'll give you that. I would say Bill Pullman in Independence Day. He just looks,
He looks like a president.
He looks like a president. And then that old dude that he usually plays a vice president actually, but he's always playing like some sort of politician in The Sum of All Fears. The guy that played the president in that movie. Look that guy up.
Sum of All Fears.
Yeah, he's like a really old white dude with a giant nose.
James Cromwell?
James Cromwell. That dude is. I'm surprised he hasn't been elected president. That's how much he looks like a president.
He looks like a president, but like a president from like 1892.
A little bit, yeah. He's like a throwback.
Morgan Freeman played president.
Yes, yeah. Was it Deep Impact?
Yeah, it's Deep Impact. Looks pretty presidential.
He does. I'm trying to find Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith having a debate over Arian Foster being a vegan because there's nothing more that I want to watch in my life.
Well, you know who went vegan like last season?
Who?
Carson Wentz.
No way.
He just got injured too.
Yeah.
Whoa, connect the dots.
Yeah, it was a classic.
I get that tweet every football season comes around, or anytime I tweet something that goes a little, gets a lot of traction. I get some eat some meat because like once you read a headline, it's true forever. So you were like the face of vegan athletes because you were the first like outwardly spoken one about it. But most of the NBA right now is vegan. Like the vast majority of the NBA is vegan. It comes with their clothes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. It just isn't, for whatever reason, it isn't the same story with the NBA as it is when any football player comes out. Like, you have to eat red meat to play football. Yeah, I mean, there's a common misconception that says that feels like in order to gain muscle mass, you need animal protein, which is not true.
I really wish that this had happened a couple years ago so I could see the segment on First Take. That would just be an honor to me to have Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless like just screaming at each other about my diet. How surreal is that?
Weird.
Yeah,
it was.
All right,
I'll mute myself, but no, it was weird. It was weird as shit, man. It was like because I don't watch First Take, so people had told me about it.
They have it, but it's someone like recording their screen.
Yeah,
I found it though. It's titled ESPN : Vegans Not Fit for Football.
Can you play it?
Yeah, I could play.
I think we have to listen to it.
I think this is funny. Oh, hold on. I think I remember it. No, let's just play it first before I misquote him.
I just want them to say my name to each other at some point in my life.
The two of them debating if you're eating too much soup would be very funny.
Yeah. PFT is overloaded on soup. Steven, I'm telling you, he has too much of it.
What's your favorite soup?
Oh, dude, there's so many good ones. Right now, I think my favorite is Greek lemon chicken soup, Avgo Limono soup.
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Vegan's not fit for.
I don't know any NFL player that's ever been a vegan at all. I don't either. I think it's a bad idea because of the timing. If he was going to do this, your body has to have time to adjust. You're going into a football season. It's a lot of strenuous activity. It's a lot of dehydration. It's going to be hot. And to deprive your body of that protein that it's been used to getting, that's going to be a tough spot to be in.
You cannot retain your muscle mass without animal protein. I was working in the gym, and when I made that announcement, I'm now vegan. I'm now found. I've been to the mountaintop. A lot of guys at the gym were saying, "You want to be able to build muscle." So basically, I just ate more fat. Lean beef, chicken, turkey, fish.
Most vegans, when they get on that diet, they lose muscle mass.
Oh yes! Oh, this is amazing.
This is like a massive.
You got Skip. Did you see Skip Bayless working out shirtless in there?
No, that wasn't
That's
Skip.
not Skip.
That
I
was
know
a
that's
vegan.
not Skip, but there was another guy that was Skip. I thought.
No, it's all
No,
the same
that was
guy.
just a vegan.
meat, even chicken, fish, turkey. Well, I don't know any NFL player that's ever been.
This is cut up very
it's
weird.
a weird
it's
cut
weird
up
chop.
video, but it's part of it. I think there's
Been a vegan will enjoy this.
Oh my God, look at how old that YouTube is.
So you become a vegan, right? And you go into this season. You're not as strong as you used to be.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, that was.
They did a terrible job chopping that up, but
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
that's just amazing. It must be such an honor for you, Arian, to have those guys talking about your diet. Especially Skip Bayless. Okay, he's not a football expert, but he is a gains expert. I don't know if you've seen how insanely jacked up he is, Arian.
Yeah, he's got it going on.
He's pretty strong. So
Did you see the recommended next to the video was the guy from MasterChef who's like on TikTok now making lobster rolls from live lobsters?
no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're listening.
There's also a clip of you on there talking about Marshawn Lynch. I just saw it.
Oh, debating.
You were on
Stephen A.
First Take with Stephen A.
Yeah, when I Googled Arian Foster, Skip Bayless, the thing that came up was like Arian Foster owns Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless about Marshawn Lynch.
I definitely did own them because they were saying the dumbest shit in the world. Nigga Stephen Smith said that Marshawn Lynch deserved to get fined like $20,000 for not talking to media. I'm like, bro, you fucking tripping.
Listen,
crazy.
the media pays your salaries. You are part of the media now, Arian. How do you square that?
I'm not. I'm not part of no media, dog. Social media, maybe. I don't even know what's going on in any sports world, dog. I went the entire NBA finals without watching a game. Wild.
That's because you don't like how they support China. We've already gotten into that. That's a completely different story. You guys want to talk about sleep?
Yeah.
It's a little tiring.
All right, cut Billy's mic off. Avery.
Just be honest with me. When did you come up with that? Like at what time today or yesterday?
It was yesterday.
It was when I didn't have enough time in the day to work out and do research for this because we did this at 1:30.
Just answer my question.
I came up with it like a second ago.
Avery, that was a premeditated
that's
joke.
not
That
true.
was
No, it was not
definitely
premeditated. It was around the same. Like,
yeah,
That's not true.
I kind of do believe Billy, but it was still bad.
It was a terrible joke.
2 minutes in the penalty box. Avery, can you turn his mic off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Billy's also losing that benefit of the doubt after his haircut joke on Pardon My Take.
I know.
Like,
I know. That was actually a good one. The more with enough time, that joke has become better. But in the no, Billy, stop tapping your mic. It's off. You got a yellow card. You'll be back on.
I like this. This should be a regular thing. 2
Yellow
minutes in
card.
the penalty box.
Can you keep track back, Mad Dog?
Yeah, it started.
Yep. Okay.
141.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's talk about sleep, guys. Sleep, perchance to dream. Sleeping is fundamental. Actually, no, Billy did not write that in his sheet. Billy did write, however, to start off the sheet, that scientists have still not discovered why we sleep. So it's kind of a mystery. I don't know. Going around the room, do you guys are you guys team no sleep, or do you find that you have to have a certain amount of sleep? Because I know if I don't get at least, let's say 6 hours, 6.5 hours, anything below that, I might as well be drunk the next day. Big T?
I have to sleep. Luckily, I don't stay out that late very often. I'm usually in bed by like 12, so like I usually get 7.5, 8 hours.
I'll bet you're a very peaceful sleeper. Stay away from my mic.
Yo, you're in the penalty
you might
box.
need another card.
I'm like the deepest sleeper of all time. I slept through an earthquake one time.
That doesn't surprise me.
God.
I don't think it was a major earthquake, but there was an earthquake when we lived in Georgia, and I slept through it.
Arian, what about you? Do you need sleep?
Yeah, I gotta have it. I came from, like playing ball my entire life, so they have like a real like militaristic scheduling, and so it's like you got to be here at this time and this time and this time, and so like post career, like I don't set alarms, I don't plan things, I just go, and it's so much more fulfilling. And actually, like doing a little research about this stuff, they say that if you set alarm clocks in general, you're actually sleep deprived because you're alerting your brain beforehand when it should wake up rather than what it should naturally do, which should the sun helps you. The sun going into your eyes helps your body tell it to wake up. But yeah, I think we're all sleep deprived as a society. Well, I said as a globe, we're all pretty sleep deprived.
Billy, you're back on the clock.
All right, well,
Yeah, so actually, if you stay up for a prolonged
Did you think
period
about
of
what you've
time-
done? Did you think about what you've done?
No, not at all.
Also, his mic was on the entire time. Never turned it off.
Then why was it when I was tapping it did not make a noise? Anyway,
That's hilarious.
when you said that you felt like you were drunk when you don't get enough sleep, that's actually true. You actually have a 0.05 equivalent BAC when you when you stay up for like 16 hours straight.
Can we discuss that, Billy? Because you stay awake for 16 hours straight every single day. Where did that come
So
from?
16 hours straight, like on top of 12?
What?
Okay, you know what? I just read that, man.
Where does this guy? I don't know.
Wait,
I'm sorry. I
wait.
do all the research.
Yeah.
That's
So
I
you
just,
can't
I
go
just
find
want
your
to
own
know
facts.
where this came
Go
from.
find your own
I have
facts.
facts.
Give me facts.
Give me some fucking facts,
to
bro.
fact
Well,
that.
it was okay. So if you sleep on your stomach, you're more prone to dreams about.
Sex.
No,
Billy,
it's
let him
not
finish
sex.
his fact.
It's going to prison or killing some or getting killed. Which I sleep on my
Jesus
stomach,
Christ.
and the bad dreams I have are about going to jail.
Okay, Billy, you have to do a fact now. It's a fact off.
Oh, okay. There's stuff called lucid dreaming where you can control your own dreams.
Okay, fact.
The perfect nap lasts for 26 minutes, according to NASA. But again,
You're
you're
reading-
making me blow all my facts.
Dude, you're on my fact sheet right
I'm on
now.
my notes app. You
No,
dumb
what's
son
behind
of a
it?
bitch.
Sleep.
Yeah, I have the sheet pulled up.
You're reading
These
my
are
facts I put
I'm not-
together.
Billy, you didn't put these facts
Yeah,
together.
you
You
did.
copy and pasted from 70 strange and fascinating facts
Yeah.
on vitalistics.com.
From
It's not like
several,
you
I have
fucking
several
went and
fact
did
sheets.
3 hours of
I
research,
went and
Billy.
did several fact
Yes,
sheets.
you literally
this is a
copied
wide
and pasted
thing.
the numbered
We
list.
can't do this early in the day because I don't work out and then I can't fucking put up with
God.
Big T being a.
All right, both you guys,
Fuck
penalty
you.
box.
Yeah.
2 minutes each, both of you. 2 minutes each.
Hey, PFT, you ain't shit for that, man.
Oh my god, that was. I had a front row seat to the
crying.
best heavyweight fight of the year. Before we continue, I feel like a couple people on this podcast right now could use somebody to talk to get out some of their rage issues that they have brewing up. If you have some stress that's bubbling up in your life, it doesn't matter who you are or what you have. Your life is probably more stressful than it should be. And you might not always be feeling down and out and depressed or like you're at a total loss. But if your stress is high, your temper can be shorter than usual. Or even if you're starting to feel strain in any of your relationships, you could probably just use the chance to unload. Unload the stress, get it out. Talk to someone who's completely unbiased about your life, someone who isn't going to judge you or take sides. When there are things that you can't tell anyone or feel like you can't unload on family and friends, you have to unload it, and that's what therapy is for. The great news is that BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and live chat sessions with your therapist. Some of the best feedback that I've gotten on the podcast that we do here, people that have heard our show and have been inspired to talk to somebody at BetterHelp, and their life is better for it. They're able to unload some of that stress. They're able to deal with some of their personal issues that they don't feel comfortable talking with family about. Making the decision to talk to a therapist can be the best decision that you can ever make in your life. BetterHelp is that customized online therapy. You can see if it's for you, unload all the stressors, get some unbiased feedback. You can start communicating with a therapist in under 48 hours. You don't have to see them on camera if you don't want to. You might be surprised at what you might gain from it. So this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off that first month. BetterHelp.com/dose. That's BetterHelp.com/dose.
Come on, bro.
Big T
Y'all
puts a
got,
better
like,
fight than
real
Jose
life-
Canseco.
When Billy gets out of the penalty box, I need to understand his math for 16 on top of 12.
Okay, all right, Big T.
Nope, penalty
Penalty
box,
box.
Big T.
So I think I get it, but if you're awake for 16 hours, that would mean that you wake up at 8 a.m.
And to go to bed at midnight.
go to bed at midnight, which happens pretty frequently. But after midnight, I could see that being true because after midnight you feel a little bit tired, and a 0.05 BAC is not that high. You're not drunk.
I also get nervous. Like if I am driving at night and I know I'm tired, I do get really nervous.
So the entire thing about why humans are kind of sleep deprived, what Arian was saying is, first of all, when you go to bed and you do set that alarm, it's your brain telling like your future brain, like, hey, don't get that much sleep. Don't be super rested. Already giving you one more thing to be anxious about or or remember even as you're asleep over the course of the night. And then most people, or not most people, but a lot of people are like, the key to being successful is like sleep no more than 4 hours a night. They take that as like a source of pride that they don't sleep. But your mental health improves dramatically if you sleep, and actually has a huge effect on your physical health too. So if you're just exhausted going through the day all the time, it leads itself not just to being clumsy or forgetful during the day, but it can actually lead to things like chronic stress. It can lead to things like, there's some people that suggest that cancer occurs more frequently in people that don't get enough sleep as well, because your body doesn't have enough time to recover. But
like the heart issues, Alzheimer's, a lot of stuff like that.
So if we want to get into like some of the weirder aspects of sleep real quick, I've always thought that it's kind of like at the end of every day when everybody turns off their brains. What if that's when the aliens reprogram you? And like when you sleep, it's just your brain connecting to some greater being out there that's like recharging your battery for you, and then filling your brain with certain information, and then studying you over the course of the night. You ever
Also,
think about that?
It's been 2 minutes.
I was just say, Billy and Big T are on the clock again.
No one knows why we sleep. Is my mic on?
Turn my mic on.
No, it's not
Your
on.
mics are coming back on.
Humans are.
Hold on.
The fact off is over.
No.
I know,
the
but-
off is very much raging on.
No,
humans
no.
are the only mammals that delay sleep willingly.
Okay.
That literally, you're
I know
on my fact
that's
sheet.
on Billy's
Billy,
sheet too.
everything is
Stop,
on your sheet.
stop.
Yeah, because I fucking
Stop.
put it together.
You guys had the fact off
Look,
already.
no one knows the evolutionary reason why sleep is even a thing. Technically, being totally defenseless and unaware should not be an evolutionary trait. Sharks do not sleep because they always have to keep swimming. And dolphins and whales only let half of their brains sleep at a time, or they're not entirely sure how it works, but they do a partial sleep pattern while they do resting, floating, but it isn't entirely asleep. Basically, no one's really sure if we sleep in order to reset our cells, and they actually can't tell why exactly it all happens.
What about my theory, Billy, that when you sleep, you're getting plugged back into some greater being or an alien? Is there any evidence out there for that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Absolutely none.
I said that one time to KFC, and his response was, what if when you're asleep, that's just your brain downloading tomorrow's episode? That blew my mind. Whoa. Are you guys okay? Big T,
I don't know. Billy got upset about
Big
it.
T, you just
No,
raised your
dude,
voice
you know
right
what?
off the bat. That
No.
was. Let's try to have a
Billy, I
civilized
apologize.
discussion.
No,
that-
it's
that you
just
got upset.
I do a lot of work, and then you always come at me.
Well,
with
I
some
didn't
new
come
things.
at you. You said that you were like, you don't have facts, only I have facts.
Billy-
And then you just, when you have 13 pages of sleep facts all copied off the internet, yeah, some of them are going to be the same.
Yeah, they're not all facts.
Billy just deleted the entire
It's
fact
gone.
sheet on Google Docs so that no one else can use his sleep facts but him.
That's pretty fucking petty, bro.
It's not petty. It's
it's
because
amazing.
it's.
Big T was stealing his
So
facts.
time out. You put it together so that you can be the gatekeeper of information, or that
No,
we can
I
all
put
learn
it.
something?
I put it together so that we can have a great conversation. Everyone's on the same page, but it's.
But you're mad because Big T's literally on the same page.
because he's literally like saying the facts are his. And
no,
criticizing the facts I bring to the table.
no, incorrect again.
But now you're saying they're your facts.
He said
That's not. I'm just saying. It's not like he's finding the facts on his own. He's like taking the
Billy,
facts I've
we
given to
went
everybody.
to the same websites. You copied and pasted all
I'm not.
70 of these facts.
I'm not being irrational right now. You know exactly what you're
think
doing. So why don't when you say the
Billy.
16 hours,
premeditated fact steal.
why don't you
That's-
then
okay, that's where
go
all this-
Google it and criticize the website instead of
No,
calling me a
I
motherfucker?
asked you, I said, where did that come from? Because everyone stays up for 16 hours every day. That's where this
Look,
whole thing started.
It's 16 hours after the point of like trying to fall asleep.
What does that mean?
I think
Dude, no one knows
I
anything
see,
about
I see
sleep.
where you're going. Now that you've said that, I understand what you were saying in the first place. Thank you for explaining it to me. I apologize that I made you upset.
I'm not upset.
Okay, well now we're getting nowhere.
By the way,
I think that was very big of you, Big T.
Thank you.
it was.
Yes.
It was.
Big T.
Big T.
I understand where Billy's coming from, though. You did impugn his facts, and then when pressed to provide facts of your own, you ate some of Billy's facts.
They were facts that I found looking at the same websites that Billy looked at.
Where's the facts from?
You did take a couple of his
Vitalistics.com, the same
Read another fact right now.
Watching TV or using your phone, tablet, or laptop in the 2 hours before bed emit blue light, which tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime.
That's Felix
not
Gray
off the
ad.
That's fact 54. It's fact 54 on the website where you got all your facts, Billy.
No free ads.
Wow.
Billy,
it is true about the blue light, though. I mean,
yeah. All right.
yeah,
well,
I got blue light glasses for that.
This is like Schefter and Rappaport yelling at each other about sources.
yeah. Our Skip and Stephen A. talking about veganism.
12% of people dream in black and white. That's fact 62.
You know
that'd
why?
be so
That sounds
whack.
horrible.
It's actually that doesn't occur that much anymore because none of us grew up on black and white TVs.
See, that's a good back and forth right here. Will you give me a hug, Billy?
No.
Please?
I think you two should hug it
Give
out.
him
No,
a
we
hug,
need to have
bro.
the show later in the day so I can do my Monday routine.
So you can work out.
You didn't
And
have
I
your
can-
fucking. You didn't have your morning milk, my nigga.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Nigga is really over here fucking crabby.
This is what happens when Billy doesn't work out. On Monday mornings.
Macrodosing, the only podcast that requires kindergarten afternoon nap.
I need a nap.
You guys need snack too. Do we have any grape juice?
Snack
Bro.
time.
There's go-go squeezes in the kitchen today. I could go get some.
Mal, can you go downstairs to Dwayne Reed and
Yeah.
bring up a couple juice boxes and some gushers?
Yeah,
Do not go get you do not get me a juice box.
I'm gonna go get you 2 juice boxes.
you said
juice
That's
box.
I would
Juice
actually,
box,
I would actually
Madeline?
love a juice
Big
box.
T?
Madeline,
Wait,
do
Big
not
T?
walk in here with a
Time
juice
out,
box
Big T.
and hand it to me.
I would actually love a juice
time out.
box.
24 years
Billy,
old.
you'll get one.
Yo, you too cool for juice boxes, bro?
In this scenario, yeah, I'll
You're
buy
cranky.
I'll buy
I
juice
would
boxes and
definitely
consume
take
them in my own home, but nobody's
And
gonna
public
give
consumption?
me a juice box.
You're cranky, big
Nope.
T.
Nobody's gonna hand me a juice
know what your
box
problem
like
is?
Mike Ditka and Kicking and Screaming.
You know what-
I'm not juice box boy.
You know what your problem is? You guys are cranky because you're tired and you haven't had enough sleep.
It could be
You might-
entirely possible.
You might need nap time.
Now, this was another thing about my nap fact I wanted to bring up with you guys. I wanted to talk if we're pro or anti-nap because I have never.
Is this a Billy fact or is this a Big T fact?
Billy had the fact on his sheet earlier. Yes, I also
So it's
had
a Billy
the fact. I've never taken a nap and felt better in my life. Do not put your credit card in your wallet.
No.
If she comes in here with a juice box, I'm leaving.
Okay.
Actually, can I have a chocolate milk too?
That's something that somebody
Billy
who
chocolate milk.
drinks juice boxes would
chocolate
say,
milk.
Big T.
I have no problem with juice boxes. I have a problem being handed a juice box.
Maybe one of
What's
those.
wrong?
Maybe one of those.
How else are
Why,
you
you
gonna get a
feel
juice
like
box?
Prompted by someone else.
You don't want to feel like a big baby?
If she comes back in here with a juice box, I'm done for the
Are
day.
you insecure about being a big baby?
I'm glad Billy's
I'm about to get
smiling
my
again.
Milky Wilky, and
Billy,
I don't care.
whatever puts you back in a better mood, I'm all for.
Oh,
All right.
God.
Shit. Where do you guys want to go with this now?
Oh, okay. We can talk about sleepwalking real quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I had a fucking episode, dog. Okay. So, the other day, about 3 or 4 days ago, I had a little shorty with me, right? And I wake up, beautiful morning. You know, you stretch, you do that body yawn, whatever the fuck that is. Feels amazing. And she goes, "Where did you go last night?" And I'm like, what is this, like accusatory? Like, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, "Yeah, you disappeared for like an hour." And I'm like, not dead. Like I could recall. Like I was like, no, it didn't. And she's like, "Look at the cameras." And I look at the cameras, and I'm butt naked. I walk into the kitchen. I initially thought I was doing the dishes, but upon further review, I pissed in the kitchen sink. It's mad weird, yo. I pissed in the kitchen sink, and that was a long one too. Just standing there. And then I look outside. I look to the back door, and I go outside. Like I fumble with the doorknob, and I go outside, and I'm gone for like an hour. And then I come back in, and then go straight to my room. Never in my life have I sleptwalked before. It was the funniest shit in the world watching it, but it's scary as hell. Cause like I have no recollection of moving my body, and I'm out here doing tasks, and who knows what? I have a pool back there. I could have swam and drowned. Like there's a whole bunch of shit that could have went wrong, bro. It was wild.
Yeah.
Were you drinking by chance?
I was pretty faded.
Yeah, dude. So I do the same thing. If I like drink somewhere and fall asleep, I'll wake up and sleepwalk to the bathroom, but I won't know where the bathroom is because it's a new place, and end up pissing in some weird places.
Yeah, I've done the same thing too. Little tip. This is an old part of my take tip, actually. I think I dropped this, Jim, in like the first year of the show. I started to have a problem where once every couple months I would get up and I would pee on some form of electronic. It would be like an alarm clock that I would pee on. I peed on my keyboard one time. And then I came up with just remembering PGIT, which means pee goes in toilet. And I would chant that to myself over the course of the night. Like as I was peeing, every time I would go to the bathroom, if I was out having a couple beers, I'd be in the bathroom, I'd be peeing, and I'd go PGIT, PGIT, pee goes in toilet, as I was peeing. And it conditioned me to think about that while I'm peeing every time. And so there were a couple times where I got up, I'd like go to a closet and start to think about peeing. I'd be like, this is not a toilet. This is not where it goes. I know where it goes. It goes in the bathroom around the corner. And then I just walk to the bathroom. But definitely drinking and sleepwalking, it goes together. And you're right. It is kind of scary because you realize, like, I didn't have control over my body. Or you do have physical control, but mental control is definitely not all the way there. And so then you get anxious later thinking, oh, shit, what if I had done this or what if I had done that? And it's spooky.
It's thought that up to 15% of the population could be sleepwalkers.
15%?
Yep.
I've slept walk a couple times stone cold sober too, but I haven't done that in years and years, probably like 20 years. But when I was like 13, 14, a couple times I did sleepwalk.
Yeah, for me, subsequently, like reading about it, they say that kids do it a lot, and they think it's because they don't really know, but they think it's because like their brain isn't fully developed yet, and so it's still trying to figure out how to work itself out. But they said that it doesn't happen in adults a lot, and if it does, it's usually like either alcohol influenced or people say it happens on Ambien a lot too. I've never tried Ambien, but yeah, man, I don't know. That was one of the most eerie feelings in my life, because it's like what if, because my keys are hanging up right by the door, like what if I thought to myself, I need to go drive somewhere, right? And I'm not even conscious, but driving, because there's been people who've driven miles and woke up and they're in a car, and that's scary, because I had been drinking. Like, what if I get into a wreck? What if I hurt somebody? Like, so I'm hiding my keys for myself now when I drink, just in case I sleepwalk. Because what the fuck? I mean, I've been faded. I'm 34 years old. I've been faded I don't know how many times, but that's the first time to my knowledge, I've slept walked. That shit's insane.
Yeah, I feel like you like walk to the bathroom and don't remember it and have no idea about it like a lot when you're drunk. You just, since you're going to the bathroom and peeing and going back to bed, you don't really think about it. But it's when like you act like you don't know where the bathroom is or you get confused, that's where it causes those like excursions.
Maybe, man. I mean, there's no way of me knowing. I wasn't there.
This is now also great evidence for when we read the headline like former professional running back Arian Foster arrested naked, driving and confused. We can be like, no, we can point to this sleepwalking episode and those charges will get dropped.
You know what happened. Yep.
Billy, you deleted all the facts that you had on the sheet, so I don't know if you ever came across the answer to this one, but what is the phenomenon where you stay awake for so long and you get so tired that you have trouble falling back asleep?
Oh, overtiredness?
Is that what it is?
It's because your central nervous system gets on such overdrive that since your like pituitary gland and like the stuff that's supposed to settle you down, you know, it's just been like, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's an element of overtiredness.
So your body it gets so stressed out because it's tired that it becomes not actually sleepy anymore.
Yeah. Most, like, they say a lot of insomniacs is actually caused by anxiety, OCD, and panic disorders. Mm-hmm. So when you're awake for that long, you're in a state of panic. So.
And confirmed. Yeah. I've had a few panic attacks the last couple of years, and they've lasted they'll go in spurts. So it's like it'll happen and it'll go away, and it'll happen and it'll go away throughout the course of the night. And like at the end, like the next morning, I've stayed up to like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning doing that. And like the next morning, my body's so tired, but it's like it's so tired I can't sleep. Like it's really weird feeling. Another fun fact: the world record for somebody staying awake is 11 days.
11 days.
The alleged world record, which was fucking hilarious, was hey, Juice Box is here.
Madeline, I'm not a man of empty threats. Do not put a juice box in front of me.
Connor, do not leave
You don't have to
this
be-
room.
I got snacks for everyone. Hold on.
I don't want to.
Do not
Big
leave
T,
this
hold on.
It's not. Come on. Only a man.
Why
has-
don't you?
Just
bread and cheese.
some people.
Those are great snacks.
We got snacks, guys. Snack time.
Hold on.
Billy got his chocolate
and Billy,
milk.
you know what I did? I also got your fucking eggs.
Perfect. Thank you
Billy's
so much.
got
No,
eggs.
I've been so pro you going to get snacks. I'm so pro.
Snack time.
And then I got Pacific Cooler.
Capri Sun. That's
Imagine
great. I would
being
love a Capri Sun.
intimidated by eating a food because it's considered childish.
And that's a fantastic flavor too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is,
Why?
and you're gonna
I don't.
freaking drink
I don't
one.
want to. I don't want to have to
What
do
a
this.
weird line in the sand to drop.
This is really strange.
I see you got your.
Sorry, I
Big
can't give you guys any snacks. I would if I could.
Okay,
Nah,
so
you know what I'm saying?
Arian, back to real quick what you were saying about there's a guy that went 11 days without sleeping, and did he
11 days with.
did he die at that point? Or?
No, he didn't die. He didn't die. I don't know much about the case. I just read about what he did. It was in San Diego, I believe.
I
Go
heard
ahead,
that
bro.
was the longest healthy amount that someone stayed up.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that's got to be the non-meth division, right?
Yeah, there was like a Guinness. They stopped recording. The Guinness World Records stopped recording this because they thought it was for fear that participants would suffer ill effects. But I'm seeing a record of 18 days, 21 hours, and 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah, you could be right.
I think that's like the unassisted. I think is 11 days, but like assisted is like 449 hours.
Well, it's one of the most effective forms of torture, right? It's just
Yeah.
sleep deprivation.
Oh well, you know what they used to do in Gitmo? They used to play like Eminem over and over again. On like they used to like blast headphones and like make
Talking
like
about the guards?
the
Or-
prison. They would put headphones on the prisoners and like make them listen to like Eminem, like I think Every Time We Touch by Cascada, like Britney Spears, just like over and over, super loud, and like that was like
It's
their
torture?
torture.
Getting to listen to Every Time We Touch over and over again sounds like a treat, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I think I also like Barney is a Dinosaur. I think they played over and over again.
That's sadistic, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So-
real sadistic. So I was watching this thing. Your man's Jordan Peterson.
Whose man's?
Whoever man's want to get claimed, but I don't know, fam.
You just said your. It's okay. Keep going.
It's a little projection there, fam. But
We all know it's your man.
yeah, it's just like I said, yeah, your man's whatever. Anyway, Buddy was on Rogan and he said that he drank apple cider vinegar and he didn't go to sleep for like 28 days or some shit like that, or 25. And then that was big cap for sure. And Rogan was like, really? He was like, oh yeah. That's his big cap.
I think that's what everybody. When you go on the Joe Rogan show, you have to have like some story about how you've hacked into your body's central nervous system, and then you'll be like, "Oh wow, that's crazy, man." But yeah, I think even Rogan was like, "Yeah, there's no chance. 28 days, you can't. Your body just shuts down at that point, right? Like you go into organ failure."
Wait, he said 28 days?
It was like 28 or 25.
Yeah. Well, he was addicted to benzos.
Which would make you fall asleep, though.
Right,
Big time.
but he couldn't sleep because he couldn't take benzos.
Oh, he
Bro,
was
you would
benzo withdrawal.
die.
Yeah.
You would die if you stayed there for 28 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
No
he
fucking way.
he might have had really shitty sleep
Yeah.
during that time period. But yeah, you're right. Benzos and alcohol, those are two things that you can straight up you can die from withdrawals.
It's actually kind of crazy. Like on daylight savings time, the day they take an hour, there's a higher percentage of car accidents that day when you lose an hour of sleep. So I mean, there's
Oh, there also cardiovascular disease goes up as well. There's a bunch of like body health effects that when you lose hours sleep that exponentially go up. I forget which ones they were though.
30% of American adults sleep less than 7 hours per night. I would put myself in that category to the point where if I get 8 hours of sleep, I wake up and I feel like I'm a new person. Like it's a notable experience on how rested I feel on a night like that. But yeah, 8 hours, I don't know many people that sleep 8 hours a night, I'll be honest.
Especially where we work. Like, it just isn't really all that feasible. I remember a few years ago, Caleb dropped a fact that you can't catch up on sleep. Whatever has happened in the past has already like the the very idea that you can make up for it in the future just is not true.
Mm-hmm. Like you gotta do it. Like if you sleep 11 hours one day after sleeping 3 hours the night before, like that,
it doesn't like work. It doesn't like balance it out. Like your body's already accounted for that 3 hours and it's already exerted the energy it needed to make up for it. So like, yeah, you might still be tired, but you're not catching up on sleep.
I think the only way to catch up is like consistent.
Yeah, like a lifestyle change. Yeah.
And also, I always heard this, but like, you should always, like, if you have a game on Saturday, you should always get a really, really good night's sleep Thursday night, as opposed.
2 days. Yeah.
That was always.
I don't know. I was consistently. I could never really sleep before games. Like I was consistently like up at 2, 3 in the morning, just kind of like zoned out.
What about 2 nights before the game? So not, you couldn't sleep then either?
I have no idea what I was doing 2 nights before. Probably drinking.
I'm looking up what the longest sleep of all time is. They say that somebody has slept for 11 days. Wyatt Shaw from Kentucky fell asleep for 11 days in October of 2017. He was just 7 years old and doctors ran several tests with no conclusive explanations. He woke up with cognitive impairment, walking and talking, but he made a full recovery. They're thinking he had like a little mini seizure. So I guess at some point, when does falling asleep become just being in a coma?
Right.
Because there was a I remember there was this girl who went into a coma for 60 years or something, like 30 years.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, but she like slipped on ice, hit her head, and then her mom like took care of her for 30 years while she was in a coma.
What happens if you're in a coma like that? Are you still like, are you peeing? Are you dreaming?
Yeah, it was bedpans and
catheter.
Milk and honey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Milk and honey.
She was putting milk and honey. I just remember that story. I don't even know.
It does sound like Sleeping Beauty now.
Yeah.
And then you're awakened by a sexual assault.
Well, yeah. What was the longest you guys have ever slept?
Probably like 2 or 3 p.m. Not long. I can't sleep that well, so.
I had one earlier this year, or maybe it was last year. You remember that, Billy?
Yeah.
People thought I was dead. So I went to bed at, I don't know, around 10 o'clock. I didn't wake up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. My alarms didn't go off. And I leaned over and I looked at my phone, and I probably had like 20 text messages, missed calls, like instant anxiety, being like, oh, shit, what just happened? And so everybody in the office thought that there was a problem with me. They were worried. And they were trying to like send people over to my apartment to see if I was okay. And the reality was I guess I was really tired and I fell asleep and I woke up, which is it's also the worst excuse and explanation that I can give because nobody believes me. Like it would make a lot more sense if I was like, yeah, you know what? I had a leftover painkiller from when I had tooth surgery. I took one of those, and I guess I fell asleep for too long. No, the reality is, like, I just closed my eyes, and I woke up, and it was, like, way, way, way too late. And then the rest of my day, I felt like absolute shit because everyone was, like, I had so much anxiety from everybody being like, oh, we thought you were dead, judging me. I felt way worse having slept for that long than if I just slept for 4 hours that night.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? That's actually a thing. It was like in this society, it's like really shunned if you oversleep or like just being on time in general, right? It's like really frowned upon if you're not. And so like that builds and adds on to the anxiety and adds on to the health problems. I had a similar experience where in football, if you're late, it's like you're the worst human on the earth, bro. Like the whole team looks at you crazy. Like I remember one time, I think I said this on the podcast, but like in college, the coaches are like, if you're 4 minutes early, you're 1 minute late, 1 minute late. And it's like, this is a stupid concept right here. But we was playing Oakland, and I had overslept, and I get a pound at this time. I was still, it was the year I led the league in rushing, but it was, I was still like, you know, I wasn't getting paid that much. I'm getting some dudes pounding on my door. And my brother was actually staying with me at the time. And he goes, hey, yo, somebody's pounding at the door. Say he's from the Texans. And I'm like, what? And so I open the door. It's one of the guys. He's like, hurry up, man. You late. And I was like, I look at the clock. It's like 9. The meeting started at 8. I was like, oh, shit. And so whole team looked at you like the team look at you like you let the team down. Like everybody's just like, and then so they sat me that I had to sit for a whole half. So I sat there the entire half, and then I ended up going for like 130 though.
There you go. You were well rested for the second half.
Right, but it was like on a Thursday, bro. It was bullshit.
Oh, remember the story about Jonas Gray?
Mm-hmm.
He went for like what? How many touchdowns did he?
3 or 4, right?
I think it was 5.
Yeah, I think it was like.
Yeah, I think
for
you're
the
right.
Patriots
against the Colts.
Yeah.
And then he was late the next, like, it was a
4.
Thursday night, I want to say. He had 4 touchdowns, and then he was just donezo.
He had 4 touchdowns. It was either a Sunday or a Monday night football game. I forget which one. But then later on that week, he overslept, and Belichick just never trusted him after that. And
they cut him?
It was an alarm clock. Eventually they cut him, but they just took away his playing time, and he never got it back. And it was because
so fucking stupid.
His alarm clock was broken on one day. And then I think it was not just his alarm clock. I think he tried to explain it, but for whatever reason, through a detail that he gave, they thought that he was lying about why he missed that practice or why he was late for that practice. And so they thought that he was lying to them about something, and then they just said, okay, we can't trust him. But in reality, it was an alarm clock. He had an alarm clock issue. It was probably the AM/PM mix-up. That's what happened with me.
Happens all the time, man. I always like, I love Bill Belichick, dog. Like, anytime I had an interaction with him, cool as shit. But like that form of coaching is so fucking toxic, and it's so arrogant. Like, it's like to pretend you don't have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and then the hype behind like the Patriot way, like, was always fucking hilarious to me. But it's like, as soon as Brady goes, so does all your good performances. It's not a coincidence, fam. Like, there's no Patriot way, dog. Like, it was Tom Brady. That was the Patriot way.
Coley he gave you the stink eye, Arian.
Bro, I was on a squad with cats who played for Bill Belichick. Like, that was the dumbest shit in the world. Like, full pads on a Thursday, week fucking 14. Like, just dumb. Like, dude used to have and the only reason why I know this is because I played for Bill O'Brien, and he was like,
not quite the same.
No, but he was like, he was underneath.
I know.
But so like, he took a lot of his mannerisms, a lot of his things. So like, he used to do shit like what they do at the Patriots. Like, Bill Belichick used to walk around and ask a player what a sign said on the door, like, because you have to be aware. So
right.
It just has nothing to do with anything.
But like,
it's nothing to do with anything, fam.
What I think the difference between what Bill O'Brien was doing and what Belichick was doing, like, he didn't come in here in 2000 and start like that. Like, he built that up over the years once he was like proven like, oh yeah, people should listen. Bill O'Brien and fucking when Patricia went to Detroit, day one, were like, no, we're going to do it how the Patriots were doing it 10 years into Belichick's career. And those guys were like, why would we ever listen?
Well,
Bill O'Brien was even doing too much with like, the only time Tom Brady was ever really blowing up at a coach was always Bill O'Brien for yelling at him. Like, Bill O'Brien definitely thought he was better than Belichick.
I agree. Like yeah, he took it there right after a certain amount of time. But it's like, yo, the reason why you had the opportunity to take it there is because you were winning, and the only reason why you were winning is because you had great players. Michael Jordan said this shit in his Hall of Fame speech, dog. It's like, coaches, and every good coach will tell you this, dog. Players put coaches in the Hall of Fame. Period.
Absolutely.
Like, you can have a great coach, dog, but if you don't have the players to execute, and it boggles my mind that nobody's figured this shit out yet, but like, it boggles my mind that coaches don't adjust their systems to the players that they have. What they do is they want to mold the players into what they want them to be, and it's just the dumbest shit in the world. And so what you do is you have a whole bunch of systems. I'm talking about the NFL specifically.
Yeah,
you have a whole bunch of systems that are like branches off of like coaches that they studied underneath, and you end up trying to create these little mini things that you had in the past, but you don't have those things anymore. Like, one of the things I used to hate about my career the most was like they wanted to make me into Terrell Davis, right?
Yeah.
And like the one cut zone runner is like, yeah, I could do that, but like my skill set was way better than what I was allowed to do. And we're getting way off the fucking topic here, but yeah, players put coaches in the Hall of Fame, bro.
Like, the one thing about Belichick and the Patriot way that I think is a misconception is he very much does treat players like individuals. Like, he kind of tries to meld. I mean, he's got, like, he had Randy Moss here. He didn't have Randy Moss doing shit other players were doing.
That's Randy Moss though.
But for sure, but it's not like when Kyle Van Noy was in Detroit, he was terrible. He was no good. When he was with the Dolphins last year, they didn't want him. They cut him. When he's with the Patriots, Belichick's like, you do this very well. I can utilize it. We're going to play to your strengths. We're not going to have you doing these things all these other teams are doing. So he does, and like Cam Newton's been the same person, like character, like off the field, mannerisms, as he was in Carolina, as he was with the Patriots. That's where it's like, yeah, I think he has these constructs, these team building contracts, and he's like, this is the overarching umbrella, but you're going to do you underneath that umbrella.
Yeah, but that umbrella is toxic as fuck.
Some of it definitely is. I think that's football. Like you said, I think that's just football, though.
100%. But he takes it to the extreme because he has those accolades and he's won. It's like, this is how we do it. And it's how it's done. And it's like, it's not how it's done, bro. It's just you won with Tom Brady, fam.
I mean, he won. Like, he had Lawrence Taylor, and Lawrence Taylor would not listen in meetings. And he was just like, what am I going to do?
What you going to do? Yeah.
Imagine trying to coach Lawrence Taylor.
Right.
Like you think you can tell Lawrence Taylor to do anything better than he's already doing with any part of his body.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where it's just like you have to recognize. And like I do think Brady does need to be pushed. Like I don't think he's just like showed up and was like, oh, I can do everything.
Billy, you look like you had something burning that you want to say about the Patriot Way.
Oh, no. I was going to ask you guys about sleep hygiene and whether you guys do anything specific before going to bed and like sleep hygiene.
Good question, Billy. I have a lot of theoretical sleep hygienes that I would like to do, but I just never end up doing because I get junky sleep. So I've always heard, like, if I did this for a week and it really helped my life, but I don't do it anymore. You plug your phone in a different room from where you fall asleep, and then you use an alarm that's set up like on your bedside table or whatever. But if you get the screen away from you in a different room, it's like, okay, the bedroom is for sleeping, and it's a way of like getting your body prepared for it to go in there, and it shuts down more easily than if you have other tasks that you can do while you're asleep distracting you. So I try to do that. I don't do it as much anymore. And then I occasionally would listen to like a sleep podcast or like a sleep meditation podcast, which takes about, but then the thing is, I realized that every single sleep podcast or sleep meditation is the exact same thing. Just like in a slightly different format, where you're at the top of a staircase and you're walking down, and now you're at the 5th level, and now the walls are much nicer color blue. Now you're at the 4th level, and then they're talking more quietly, and then it's just a countdown. Sometimes you're on stairs, sometimes you're on an escalator, sometimes you're in a hallway, but they just essentially count you down. So then I would just be like thinking about the actual story that they're telling me and trying to predict what's going to happen next as opposed to sleeping.
That's
so
worst,
it backfired.
I probably 4 times out of the week, I turn on Avatar and I fall asleep to Avatar.
That's my favorite thing about Arian, by the way, that we've learned over the course of this podcast, is he's fucking obsessed with the movie Avatar.
Oh, I love that.
Without a doubt.
Do you like it, or is it just something on that's like comforting for you?
It's very average acting, right? The storyline is the typical white savior complex where the white guy come and save the culture, right? But there's something about that planet that I feel is like connecting to me in a way I can't explain. So it's like the reason why I love it so much is that culture is they're inundated with nothing but preserving themselves and preserving the land around them. And I love that idea. And obviously the bioluminescent forest and all of that shit, right? It's amazing. And the graphics are pretty great. Actually, they're pretty good for 2009, right? And so the movie itself is kind of like Black Panther, right? Didn't age well, like the actual acting and like the movie and the plot. Yeah, it's really average. But like everything that was put into it, fucking fabulous, man. And just for anybody that's wondering, yes, they're making an Avatar 2, and they're actually scheduled to make an Avatar 3. COVID put it behind. They are making an Avatar 2. God damn it, it's coming out next year. That's what they say. And I believe
no chance in hell.
I believe James Cameron is going to get this done, baby. Let's do it.
We've been saying that for a decade now.
Quick question, Arian.
What's
Can you name 3 of the characters from the movie, like their names?
Oh yeah, for sure. You got Jake Sully, the lead character. You got Natiri, who he falls in love with, and then you have that's actually, I forget. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm struggling with the third one. Jake Natiri, and then
just any character.
Yeah, I'm struggling. Oh man, that's fucking with me.
Because that's always trended. Like, Avatar was the highest grossing movie of blah, 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 but no one can name 3 characters.
Yeah.
Jake Sully, Natiri, and then
I can see the Doctor.
Atukan.
okay.
Atukan, yeah.
Have you been to the Avatar land at Disney World?
No, and I got a shorty. She's like,
Fantastic.
yeah, she says like, yo, you love the movie so much, like you need to go to. And I want to now.
Would you do the tentacle ponytail thing?
Like with who? With anything? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if I think that's how they have sex, right? Is they put their tentacles together? I don't. They don't
But
really
they
get into
also do
detail.
that with their horses too.
I would fuck a horse. I would fuck a Pandoran horse for sure. If that's how you do it.
I think there's also like other connections, but I think that's just like symbolic of their like connections to nature and stuff around them.
Yeah.
And the Ikran.
Yeah.
They call it the bond, the flying one.
Yeah.
They only the horse, you can hop on any horse and bond with it and tell it what to do. But the Ikran, see, that's special, right? See, the Ikran only bonds with one flyer per lifespan. So.
What do you think of the forcible bonding with the Ikran? Will they jump on it, harass
well,
it?
they don't. They choose you. They choose the flyer. So when you go to, it's very consensual. So when you go to the Ikran nest, right? There's all these Ikran and they're chilling. They choose you, and how they choose you is they try to kill you. And once you bond with it, you guys are fucking friends for life. It's like much better than a fucking dog. You actually kidnap those fuckers.
One of the rides they have at Disney World is like you doing that, like bonding with the Ikran or whatever, and then you ride it, and it's incredible. You would love it.
I would absolutely love that.
So talking about connections and otherworldly,
Billy Segway.
Doing a little segue. I want to talk about dreams. So I did a ton of research on dreams in preparation for this episode, and I just wanted to maybe go around the room and talk about, does anyone have any reoccurring dreams?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The one that I get most frequently is teeth falling out.
Yeah.
I have like a loose tooth, and I've looked it up, and it can mean that there's something that either you had said that you wish you hadn't said, or something that you wanted to say that you didn't say. And so I've had that like maybe once a month since I was, 15 years old, 16 years old.
Are yours falling out, or are you taking them out?
They're falling out, but I can like feel them in my mouth. Like when I close my mouth, I can feel one that's loose, and sometimes I'll like knock it out with my own tooth.
Yeah, mine, I'm usually like just pulling it out.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
Have you looked that up?
Not really, because dreams freak me out, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. I am like a super lucid dreamer. And I'm a big sleep with the TV on guy. So like there are times where what's happening on TV will meld with my dream. And like if I fell asleep to like a West Coast ESPN game and I wake up and one of those talking head shows are on, I'm just dreaming I'm having this conversation. But since they're in the real world and I'm dreaming, they obviously don't know I'm also trying to get my takes off too. And it just becomes very frustrating when I go to make a point and then someone else starts talking, and I wake up so angry. Like, why aren't you guys letting me talk?
So you've dreamed that it's just you and Will Kane just going at it.
It's never once been Will Kane. I'm thinking of like skipping Stephen A for sure, because that used to be like I'll now use like a timer, or it will be like Netflix, which will stop playing after 3 episodes and shut off my TV. But back when it was like cable. And ESPN, it was always me waking up to a debate about like Kevin Love or something where I wasn't able to get my takes off. But the reoccurring dream I've been having the most recently, like the past like couple of years, is I'm always far away from home, either on a plane, trying to board a plane, in an airport. It's always like the other side of the planet. So China, Japan, just like a place I'm not comfortable, surrounded by people I know, but it's like we're always trying to get home, trying to like just the idea of being so far away from home, not being able to get back is something that like cripples me.
What about you, Big T?
I don't know I don't dream very often, like very rarely, but I will say something that I've had happen in a dream several times is I am trying to get away from someone or something, and I just can't move. Like,
yeah, I've had that one.
Like if like I'm trying to run and I just can't. Which I'm not a fast runner to begin with, but this is exceptionally so. And
yeah,
like
that's one of my frustrating dreams as well. It's like I am a pretty fast person usually, and I can't get away from people in dreams sometimes. That's pretty annoying. Yeah, I'm with you, Big T.
Yeah,
that's got to be really frustrating for you, Aaron.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Like, I know I can do this, right? Yeah. Pretty annoying. Yeah.
But like, do any of you guys lucid dream?
Sometimes. Yeah. I find it happens more often if I'm like falling asleep to. Have you ever like fallen asleep while you have ESPN Plus on after a game, and it goes? Specific. It's just like 15 seconds of like crowd cheering, and then it fades out, and then it's 15 seconds again of that same crowd cheering, and it fades out like repeated over the course of hours and hours. It'll fuck you up if you just hear the same, or it could be like a DVR home screen.
Yeah.
Or a DVD home screen, sometimes it just stays on. That'll mess me up sometimes.
So lucid dreaming, and I think there's probably a lot of listeners who don't actually know what lucid dreaming is, but it's the idea of becoming, when you're in a dream, becoming conscious that you're in a dream, and then being able to take control of the dream and do whatever you want. Now, basically, I would sort of compare this to playing GTA and basically being able to, run around, drive cars, and sort of do whatever you want in the real world, but just having
like Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But anyway, this was the term lucid dream was coined by a Dutch author and psychiatrist, Frederick van Eden, in his 1913 article, A Study of Dreams. So he, had a whole big dream journaling. He started this whole thing about, waking up and right after waking up writing down your dreams, because he discovered that after 5 minutes of waking up, you usually forget your dreams. And he created names for 7 different types of dreams he experienced based on his data. One of them was initial dream, which is sort of like when you're falling asleep and you start to have some sort of, he described it as sort of hallucinations while falling asleep. The second one is a pathological dream, which is sort of like fever dreams, or having to do with some sort of sickness or poison, he said. Ordinary dreaming, which is just classic dreams, like the usual well-known type to which a large majority of dreams conform. Probably it is the only kind that occurs to many people. It's not particularly pleasant or unpleasant, though it may vary according to its contents. Then vivid dreaming. This differs from ordinary dreaming because it's very vivid and you remember it very well. There's probably some sort of emotion attached to it that really impacts your brain. And like fear, nightmares falls under vivid dreaming. Symbolic or mocking dreaming, which is basically the impressions being invented or arranged by intelligent beings of very low moral order. So those sort of fall into he calls it demoniacal dreaming, which basically is the lucid dreams where people just sort of go do what their heart desires and sort of does like sex dream, flying dreams, adventure dreams, all those sort of things, which is sort of when people lucid dream, they tend to record them doing stuff that isn't usually societally acceptable. If when you get control of lucid dream, people like try to fly, they try to bend the laws of physics, and sort of also do other stuff.
Say what you want to say.
Well, they have sex dreams.
We'll leave it.
Basically. So
that's a little weird, actually. If you really think about it, like because like sex is consensual, so you have to concoct a consensual a woman who consensuously agrees to have sex with you. That's wild.
Well, you're also like you kind of just wake up, at least for me, you wake up in a scenario that's already been laid out by your brain. Like you just kind of get put into a world. It's not like you're you and you're just in this like blank void and then you build the world around you. I always just find myself in the middle of some like a normal dream scenario. And then it's just like my consciousness turns on and I just kind of take it from there.
So my buddy, we talked about this a while ago. My buddy, he lucid dreams, and because I don't have any control of what's going on. I'm kind of just a witness. And he describes it as like you're just kind of. He's like you dream, and then you recognize it's a dream. You're like, oh okay, I'm gonna go over here, and he kind of just like, moseys his way through the dream, which is wild to me because like I would try if I know I'm dreaming and I'm like okay, I'm in a dream. I would try to do wild shit. Like I don't know if I would try to have sex. But I would probably like try to fly and shit like that.
Yeah, it's never been like, oh, time to turn off my morality too. Like in a weird way, like you almost try to not get caught. Like as strange as that, like it feels like if you get caught, you wake up. And I just know I want to keep like not even really that much invested in the dream. Sometimes, of course, it's like you're in a wild situation, so you want to see how it plays out, knowing it is just a dream. But you mostly like, all right, I know. It's almost like your brain is the eye of Sauron that you're trying to avoid. And it's like, all right, if my brain sees me and knows I'm in here, it's going to wake up my body. I don't want that. I just want to keep cruising around in this world until reality jars me from this situation.
So how often does that happen to you?
A couple times a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I've never, that feels so foreign to me. Like I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like dreaming in general is pretty, like, I don't understand. Like when you say you don't dream, that makes no sense. Maybe it feels like it goes one and one with sleep in my brain.
Maybe once every 3 or 4 months, I'll have a dream.
Weird.
Like it's very rare.
Are you sure you don't have dreams, but then you forget them when you wake up?
Yeah, I think
no, because when I do have a dream, I generally don't really remember what it's. I guess that's possible, but like I don't really dream.
You know what I've noticed, bro, is it goes in spurts. Like I'll have a stint where I don't dream a lot. I noticed when I'm eating healthier and exercising and doing what I'm having to do, I remember like I dream all the time. But like when I start to eat like shit and drink a lot, like my dreams kind of go away. I don't know if that is any kind of correlation, but like that's what I've noticed throughout my life. I don't know if anybody else has noticed.
I mean, I'm sure like your environment and what you do to your body has to play into it.
Right.
Because like another thing, and I'm sure Billy has this in his notes, but like you can't dream of a face you've never seen. Your brain can't come up with a face. It can't just make up a face. So even people who seem like strangers, you've seen them on a bus. You specifically have seen them in a stadium as a fan somewhere. Like every face you see in a dream, which is why you dream about so many people you know, because it's what your brain does. Your brain can't create a face.
Why couldn't it though? I mean, there's artists that draw faces all the time. Like, why couldn't my brain?
There are, but I think you're just basically like, even if it's not. It's like a composite of multiple faces. Yeah. Like you've seen noses, you've seen eyes. So even if you're trying to draw a new face or like a cartoon character, it is based off something you've seen somewhere.
Like try to think of a totally unique person in your brain right now.
Yeah.
Like just make a face in your brain.
I mean, I did it.
You did it?
Can't prove to me that I'm
yeah, but
in my head.
no, but honestly. So there's a bunch of people who are like really into lucid dreaming online, and they like there's whole like forums and communities where like basically they like to do crazy stuff in their dreams, and they treat it almost as like tripping and like a drug almost, like because they really like the experience of being able to control their dreams.
It would be fun. It would be fun as far as like you seen Inception?
Yeah.
It's low key like Inception. Like you kind of build a world like that. That to me, that's intriguing. And low key, like I'm not spiritual or religious by any sort of imagination, but what I do think is that like that our consciousness is so foreign. We just don't know anything about it, and I have this like feeling, right, that dreaming and dying are pretty similar. Like, you hear people talking about like with DMT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like that chemical that releases in your brain before you die. Like it's just like a dreamlike state, And so we still don't understand what consciousness is. And so like it's my I don't want to say belief, but it's like I have like a hunch that has like something to do with it. Like you kind of go into this ethereal plane. Like, and I don't, like I said, I don't think this is a factory thing, but it's something that would feel right to me.
Yeah, it's logical because I've had similar thoughts because I've experimented a lot with a lot of substances. I specifically won't do DMT because it's the chemical your brain releases when you die. It feels like a very easy thing for your brain to be like, well, this is it.
This is it, dog.
I was gonna say though, the way y'all talk about dreaming, it sounds like similar to doing drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean it is low key. Like the experiences. I think one of the craziest parts about dreaming to me is and the correlation with the drug usage of like a DMT or an ayahuasca is the concept of time kind of erodes. Like there is no time. The way we view time is very linear here. I can't say here like I've been anywhere else. the way we view time, because like and this is why like it stems from like just my study of physics in general. It's kind of like the same, right? Because like time is directly correlated. How you experience time is directly correlated with how you move through time and how you move through space. And so like not everybody experiences the same time, especially when you're talking about universally, right? And so like when I dream, what I noticed, like, so one time I had this dream where I was a soldier and I was on a field and there was like this alarm going off, right? But that was at the beginning of the dream, and I had a whole sequence of events happen after that, and I woke up to my alarm clock. Right. And that shit blew my mind because like that was at the beginning of my dream. And I had a fucking lifetime of memories of that dream after that alarm went off. And so it's like the concept of time just went away. Like, and it wasn't linear. It was at the beginning of it. It was really weird.
You have thousands of dreams all while you're sleeping. And there's the science of like sleep where it's like there's REM sleep, which is basically your eyes are moving under your eyelids.
Rapid eye movement.
Yeah. There's deep sleep and then there's lighter sleep, but you dream throughout all portions of sleeping.
How long does a traditional dream last? Like actual time?
I think
a traditional dream.
Well, it's like that's standard dream. I think it's like 15 seconds.
A good old Western,
good old American European dream.
Well, I think like an average dream. I guess average is a better word. I think an average dream lasts 15 real world seconds. But it, like to your point, it feels like you're in there for months.
Yeah, yeah.
So the length of a dream may vary. They last a few seconds to 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. So what constitutes the differentiation between dream to dream, right? So
I would say setting. Like
so a different theme
because
a different dream. That's interesting.
I don't know.
It's like a different show.
Why would they compartmentalize it like that? Because
I don't know. I haven't actually looked.
I'm sure it's more like mood.
It's probably the waking because you like I use a Whoop to track my sleep and exercise and everything, and you can see like
what is a Whoop?
A Whoop band. It's an exercise band. It just
you listen to enough Rogan, you know what a Whoop band is.
I was like, damn, I don't listen to Rogan like that though.
There's like portions where you're like going into deeper sleep than coming out, going in. I imagine when I'm coming out, it's probably more of a wakefulness and not dreaming. But one thing about dreams, and this is what really sort of interested me. Quickly getting back to lucid dreaming, the way people try to lucid dream is that you can't read time or read like any sort of writing in a dream traditionally. They say like, so if you like look at a clock in a dream, you can't really do that. You won't find clocks. Or like you can't look at your phone and read because that's just something that doesn't happen. Like you can't read a book in a dream. So that's an indicator you're in a dream, and to start, being conscious of being in the dream and start lucid dreaming. Another thing that people do is they put an X or some sort of marking on their hand while they're awake, and just like every now and then, like when you're bored, just like check to make sure the X is still there and that you're awake and this is in a dream. So like just checking like, oh, am I dreaming? And then that sort of, if you make that a habit, then when you start sleeping, you start doing it and then you're like, oh, I'm in a dream now. And
so they're trying to prep you into lucid dreaming.
Yeah, there's a whole
totem. You need a totem.
Yeah.
Totem, yeah, that's also Inception.
There's a whole community of people who like to lucid dream, and it's sort of like, it's it's their recreational activity. I mean, I guess that makes sleep more fun if you like.
For sure.
If you're like, oh man, going to lucid dream tonight, like
going to the club. Have y'all ever had sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bruh. So the first time I had it, I thought I was dying. I thought I was dead actually. And so what's really dope is the hallucination part of the dreaming didn't shut off. And so when I opened my eyes, I was looking at the wall and like I could see like mad like patterns and visions and people and animals, like wild shit. And I'm looking at the roof and I can't move and I don't know what's going on. And then this is even weirder shit. Like it's very auditory as well. And so like I'm hearing like a playground, like children's laughter at a playground. So it was eerie as fuck. Couldn't move, looking at all these weird visions on the roof. And I didn't know what it was. And the more I fought it, the more I went into paralysis.
Yeah.
And so now I don't have it as much now because it doesn't scare me. But like the first like year or two, I didn't know what it was. I was like fighting it, trying to move. And that's the easiest way for people out there who are still scared of this, like, because it is a scary thing if you don't know what's going on. But it's when you wake up and your body is, I think it's your frontal lobe is still asleep or something like that. I don't know. Some part of your brain is still asleep, but your body, I mean, your body's still asleep, but your brain is you're conscious. And the way I beat it is I just give in. Like you just give in. Don't try to fight it. Give in, and you'll slowly gain. Or you can have somebody, if you sleep with anybody, like if any kind of like big movement will wake you up. It'll wake your body up. So you can have them like if you can squeeze your hand a little bit and let them know you're going through it. That helps.
The first time I had sleep paralysis, I was like 9, so I didn't even know it was a thing. And I used to I lived on the second floor, and I had a door in my bedroom. That was just like stairs that went out into the yard, but there was like a spotlight out there and I was frozen and I saw like a shadowy figure out there. So I thought I was being abducted. And so that was fucking, and with the paralysis too, like you can't yell or speak. And that still happens to me. Like when I get paralysis, like I'm trying to yell help, but I can't like open my mouth or make any noise. So it truly is like a horror. It happened to me a week and a half ago.
This
I had
is
sleep paralysis.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I was having a nightmare. I've never had like sleep paralysis where it was like a fun dream. It's always a nightmare. And I was having this nightmare. I was like in the woods being surrounded by all these like dog, wolf kind of creatures. Like they were really big. And I was being surrounded by them and I was sleeping on my side. And I recognized I was dreaming, which helped. But I knew I couldn't, like, if I want to wake myself out of a lucid dream, I can. But in this case, since I was also having sleep paralysis, like I couldn't move. And I finally like I always end up like snap. I'm going to like break my neck one of these days because I like truly snap out of it. I scared the shit out of my life.
I had
No, go ahead.
I had sleep paralysis once, and I mixed melatonin and CBD, which probably had nothing to do with it, but it was after the 24-hour grit stream. We stayed up for 24 hours doing stupid stuff. Anyway, I tried to go to sleep that night, so I took CBD and melatonin after being up for like an insane amount of hours. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I kept thinking someone was coming through my door, but I couldn't wake up. And literally, it was one of the scariest things. I kept thinking someone was coming in, and there was this coat rack next to my door that sort of looked a lot like a person, but it had a hat on top, so it looked bald. So I literally was like, there's a bald dude, like Joe Rogan's coming into.
It was me coming to get you.
Yeah. So I actually had a tweet, and I'll retweet it for the episode tomorrow. If you mix CBD and melatonin before bedtime, you'll be visited by a sleep paralysis demon that is Joe Rogan putting you in jiu-jitsu holds. You can try to scream, but you can't. And I just remember that vividly.
The more I think about it, though, it's probably like because I was talking to I think Charlemagne was on my podcast one time, and we was talking about how he had sleep paralysis, and in the South, it's like an old fable where like there's a witch that comes at night and sits on your chest so that you can't move. And so like the more I think about it, like that's probably like where the fable of like ghosts come from, because like you wake up at night and your hallucination factory is still operating, or whatever the fuck it's called, and like so you can see shit at night. Like I've definitely seen shadows in my room when I had sleep paralysis, and this can happen without sleep paralysis. So like the notion of ghosts in general, when comes from sleeping, can easily be traced to these instances. That's insane.
I feel like the entire concept of ghosts, I don't know why anyone's afraid of them, even if they do exist. They're ghosts. They can't touch you. They're literally ghosts. Like, yeah, they may pop out and scare you, but it's the same thing with vampires. Vampires, the fact that people are afraid of vampires blows my mind. I just get to be 22 and live forever, and I can sleep during the day. Like, that sounds sick.
But you got to feed, though.
That's fine.
Well, they got to feed on humans.
Yeah. I'm no longer a human. That's not a problem for me.
But that's why people are scared of vampires. They don't want to be. Actually,
it's short-sighted.
Yeah, come bite me. I'll be all right.
Y'all want to live forever? That sounds terrible, honestly.
I've thought about this. That's a good philosophical question, man. I don't know that I've done anything else, so I don't know how I would want to do anything else. You know what I mean? Like, this is the only life I can recall, so I enjoy it. It's not like I don't want to live, right? I get the concept of the concept of like the beauty of life is because things die, right?
Right.
But if things are still dying around me, that means
I can still appreciate it. Yeah.
still beautiful.
Did you watch the show The Good Place, Arian? So I don't want to give away the end of the show, but it's a very philosophical. I think you would like the show.
I think you'd like the premise of the show. The show itself, I don't know if you'd like, but the premise, I think you would enjoy.
So you've seen the whole thing, Coley?
I haven't seen the last season, but I know like.
Well, I don't want to give away the end of the show, but the end of that show is something along those lines. It's a very interesting theoretical concept, I guess.
Something in dreams that I myself find very interesting is that your brain creates totally for example, sometimes figures and characters approach you in dreams and like make up stuff that you don't even know about. So for example, some people who lucid dream and dream, they talk about sleep dream characters, and not necessarily reoccurring characters in dreams, but people they interact with in dreams, and they ask them questions and give them answers that they have no idea how something that comes from their brain is able to generate something that they don't even know about. So, for example, they'll ask, like, let's say you're in a dream and you're talking to someone and you ask them, what's 100 times 63? And the person responds faster than you yourself is able to respond to the question. So if it's kind of complicated, but
no, that makes sense. I guess what wouldn't make sense is how to fact check the response, and then how to comprehend how much time it takes for that person to answer, because time in a dream is fucking hard to calculate in general. I think the totem is the best way.
Well, there's been two things I've learned in dreams, and the way you're talking about it, Billy, I might be able to lay it out. Like, I learned how to roll my R's in Spanish via dream, and I learned how to dunk via dream.
What?
You learned how to dunk in a dream?
I took Spanish in high school, and I sounded like the whitest person ever because I couldn't roll my R's. And in my dream, I was rolling my R's. So it was something where my brain was like, it had been around it in the real world enough to have heard it to know what it was. And I have a tongue and I can speak language. So it was almost like, here are these things. And with dunking, I grew up and I always was a one-footed jumper, and I was not getting very high. But I'd watched tens of thousands of hours of basketball, and finally my brain pieced together, jump off 2 feet, like, and the way to go about it. The next day I went out, jumped off 2 feet and dunked for the first time. So it was something I had watched thousands of times, had not tried practically, but had been around enough to the point where I could piece it together in my own brain and visualize myself doing it.
So in one intriguing study from 1989 that illustrates the extent of this phenomenon of your dreams creating and finding information that you may have not had before, Paul Tholey, a German dream research and Gestalt psychologist, had 9 proficient lucid dreamers ask people in their dreams to perform specific tasks such as writing or drawing something, coming up with a rhyming verse or word unknown to the dreamer, or solving simple mathematical problems. Not only were they several dream figures willing to give such tasks a try, but some were surprisingly good at them. So I don't know, like, this sort of made sense to me because sometimes when I dream or when I'm starting to dream, there's the same sort of cast of characters around. Like, basically, sometimes like a female voice that's an older woman that you're having a conversation with, or it's like an older man. I know this sounds pretty schizophrenic, but like basically, like, you know, usually in your dreams, there's several like role players that like are just there.
Cast.
Yeah, cast of characters in your brain. Anyway,
you keep recasting the same.
Yeah, it's just there's the same actors in your brain that just
Billy's Judd Apatow. He only works with the same guys over and over.
Yeah, in my brain. But a lot of lucid dreamers have this, and they basically just like interview these people in their brain in the lucid dreams. Like, yo, dude, like, tell me a word I've never heard before. And one of the dream characters said orlog, and this word was like, what the hell does orlog mean? And then they Googled the word as soon as they woke up and like looked it up, and orlog's like a Dutch, like it's like a used to show a quarrel or war in like Dutch, but it's like also used in English. It's like one of those words. So it was a new word that the person would have never known before.
Well, maybe he recalled, right? Because like there's this condition that is very, very super rare, but like some people can't forget anything, right? And like you can't forget anything, and so like there's this lady who's like you could ask her like, what were you doing on August 15th, 1988, and she'll tell you the weather, what she ran it, like every single thing about it. So it's like the shit that we run across, we forget the majority of it, but some people, like, it's still in your brain, like right, it doesn't go anywhere, like you just can't recall it. And so like maybe that's probably an explanation for it, is like it, and that's what's dope about lucid dreaming. Like when you really think about it, it's like you're just really wandering around inside your own brain. Yeah,
so these lucid dreamers found a backdoor access to the recently deleted files of their brain.
Yeah, that's actually kind of fire, dog.
Yeah.
You know, another aspect of dreaming that's dope is, and why to me the brain is so powerful, and I've mentioned it before, but it's like, yo, wet dreams. Like they call them like nocturnal emissions clinically, but like it's fast, like it's funny, but it's like fascinating how you can, like, one of the most pleasurable human experiences is sex, and you can recreate that unconscious. That's fucking insane, dog. Like,
yeah,
I've never actually had one though.
I thought,
Me neither.
Never.
I've never had one.
It feels like something that has to happen to priests a lot, right?
Probably.
Well,
I think we're just
depending on the priest.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope it happens to them a lot.
I think we're just jerking off enough.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
But
I
you're
get
not
it in.
like,
For sure, I get it in.
By the way, morning wood is not caused by sexual thoughts or sexual dreams. It's a natural process that happens once, like 5 times a night to healthy males, which is interesting. So it's like not everyone's just horny as hell. It's just like the body doing what the body does.
I know it's not correct, but I still think it's because I have to pee.
That's valid.
How? But that inhibits, like, it's harder to pee when you're erect.
Oh, I understand. It's a morning. It's a problem every morning. But it's like I'm just like I am solid as a rock because my dick is just overflowing with urine right now. That's how my brain works.
But don't the tubes switch?
Of course, yeah, no, they are not correlated. I'm just saying, in my brain, I know when I wake up with morning wood, I have to pee as bad as I have to pee throughout the course of the day.
Oh, so maybe it's your body's way of stopping you from peeing on it.
Maybe, yeah. My muscles are just like, nope, it's not happening.
For fail safe.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to talk, or just at least bring up, is like, so the reason is to like why we sleep. Like nobody really knows, but what I've always thought about is like, so if you believe in evolution, which it happened, and you fucking should. So if you believe in evolution, like we evolved in concordance to the environment around us, right? So if you think about other planets, like, and other organisms that could possibly be living out there, that means like either they don't sleep or their sleep schedule is entirely different from us. Because like I think Saturn or Jupiter, like their day is like 130 hours or some shit like that. I don't know. Like that's one day, right? Like Uranus is like 9 hours and 10 hours, something like that. So it's like how we sleep is directly correlated to the place that we live, which is wild thinking about all the organisms out in the universe and how and if they sleep.
So you're saying you're saying sleep is like an evolutionary tactic, basically?
Not necessarily a tactic, but it's a byproduct. Like
Okay.
we sleep in concordance to the sun rising and the sun falling the majority of the time. And there are nocturnal animals, but for us, like the sun is we're supposed to be awake thing.
So I sort of have this theory that sleep is left over from animals that were like the first forms of life that used photosynthesis. So like because they could only get energy from the sun, when the sun was out, they were more active and did more stuff. And then when the sun went down and they had no sun to fuel them, that's when they sort of like went into a state of energy preservation. But then
that's a fire fucking take, bro.
That's and like it's sort of like one of those things like our tailbone that's just evolutionary left over. And like then when amphibians happened and we cellular respiration happened where we started eating other things, then we sort of just kept going with it because we figured out this, I don't know, so this energy system that cells do that relies on. Yeah.
I'm a fan of that fucking take, dog. Like
I don't know.
Just 1,000%. There's some shit that blew my mind along those lines is the way we see, like what we see of the electromagnetic spectrum is directly correlated with the sunlight that came in the water for those early organisms. And so like because like there's all kinds of shit in the electromagnetic spectrum we can't see, like CO2. We can't see that shit. We can't see X-rays. We can't see gamma rays. We can't see all that shit. But what we can see just happens to be that the part of the spectrum that is broken in the water where we developed. It's really amazing with the eye, how the eye originally evolved. But that shit is a fire fucking take, Billy. I want to look that up actually.
Yeah, because everything we know about sleep we've learned in the past 30 years. It's like one of those things that it's like the oceans, you know, it's like the stuff that like we think we know a lot about, we don't really know anything about. Yeah. So
the brain in general, the brain in general is just like a huge fucking mystery.
Yeah. I mean, and also there's a lot of thoughts about premonition dreams. So people dreaming about the future.
Premonition?
Yeah.
Premonition, sorry.
Are you good to fuck up a word every episode?
I can come out with some like photosynthesis shit.
But you be saying shit like that's smart, and so like I'm like, am I fucking up or is he fucking up? But go ahead about your premonition.
My nocturnal emissions. So like Abraham Lincoln dreamt of his assassination. Many victims of 9/11 had dreams warning them about the catastrophe. There was 19 verified precognitive dreams about the Titanic sinking. So there's this idea that like people are able to tell the future from dreams, and like getting back to what PFT said in the very beginning of the episode, that dreams are a connection to like aliens in some sort of other world, like they're like, you know, that does support the idea that like you can predict the future in your dreams.
Do you guys ever see? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mad.
I was just gonna ask. This is something like my mom has happened a lot to her. Like that you talk to like deceased relatives or like people that have died in your dreams. Like, do they come back? Because my mom like swears by she'll see people that have like died in our family in her dreams, and they'll like tell her things and like give her messages. And she thinks, and also like I grew up Catholic and she's Catholic, and so she thinks that's kind of like the connect, like not to put what words in her mouth, sorry mom, but like almost like a gateway between like the real world and heaven.
So that's a common trend across like multiple cultures, this idea of like ancestors coming to people in dreams.
I've had it happen to me, but like she has it like all the time, like, and they'll tell her things.
Like maybe the cast of characters that like, you know, do the dreams, they're all just like dead relatives. That actually makes sense.
There's a reason why like I don't give that much credence. Well, I mean, I can't say if it's true or not, but like I hope it's not true, right? Because like if you're, I just think about being a dead relative and like you're doing dead people shit, and all of a sudden like you have to come back and talk to people that are alive. Like you probably have better shit to do. Like it's maybe, I don't know.
But maybe it's the only, like, you know, you're up there, you're like chilling, and then you're like, oh no, gotta go help guide my great grandson who's being a fuckhead. Like
that's what I'm saying. It seems like a responsibility. It's like
her parents. It'll be like my grandparents that are talking to her. So it's like I feel like they don't. I mean, they'll like want to talk to her.
I feel like there is a like you want to do it at that point. I feel like. Right?
Yeah, there's a sense of effort that goes into coming into someone's dream.
Yeah.
We don't know, like what is that effort? Is that like
it's like okay, if you're dead, let's say, and you want to come back into like Arian, let's say like in 50 years when you die and you come back into your, I mean, I feel like that's pretty good. Like
84 is a good life. Yeah. 84 is a good life. Yeah.
Like you come back and like want to talk to your kids, and so then like that's the way that you talk to them. Like it's almost kind of like not ghosts, but like spirits.
But that's what I'm saying is like, why would they not like divulge information that's like pertinent? Like, yo, this is what happens when you die, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like on the other side. This like it's always. I don't want to know what's going. Obviously, you probably already know what's going on, right? Especially if I'm watching them. Like, I already know what's going on.
Like you're saying, like if you wanted, if it were up to you, and you wanted to come back and like get in your kids' dreams, like you'd be like, this is what the other side is. Like you'd give them like,
yeah.
Oh, you'd
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you'd reveal. Maybe you're not allowed to.
And that would be whack too, because who's overseeing those conversations? Like,
it's like when you're in prison and it's like the plexiglass, and you're on the phone, like,
and it's like your two hands are touching.
And you're just like, the overseer doesn't like when we divulge what happens here.
Right.
But
or it's like,
fuck it.
Or it's like, if we're looking at it from a more like practical sense, it's like it could be, or not practical, but I don't know. It could be of like a sense of grieving.
It could be a sense of like, I know I see my father a lot in my dreams. He's been dead for 4 years now.
Right.
The way I view it is it's like, it's probably your subconscious taking on the form of someone you either very much trusted or respected in the course of your life. So it doesn't really matter if they're dead or alive.
So they get added to the cast.
Yeah, it's just like, who do you trust? Who's someone you respect? Who's someone you listen to a lot? And if it's something you either necessarily know you should do, or something you haven't been allowing yourself to admit, whether it's something in your life, something in your, especially family, and like your subconscious takes on the form of a respected figure in your life to deliver the news you already know, but haven't either admitted to yourself yet, or haven't put that series of words in that own way to give yourself that kind of message.
Okay, so basically they get like added to the cast.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and once they die, it's like, okay, you miss them, and they almost feel more revered now when you're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Probably, but it's like I was always very close to my father. I always listened for the most part what he said. But it's like now when I still see him and you talk about a totem. I know I'm asleep when I see that guy pop up.
I used to get a bunch of nightmares when I was little, and what I learned
funny, bro.
what I learned to like, that was my lucid dream tip off. Like, oh shit, like Dobby from Harry Potter. I used to be terrified of Dobby, an animal from
Lord of the Rings.
No, animal from
Harry Potter.
But animal from the Muppets too.
Oh.
Like just in Gollum too.
Yeah.
So like those
all those like weird characters.
Small little
so hold on. Along those times, are you scared of Yoda?
I was just gonna ask that.
No, because Yoda didn't move like those three creatures did. For some reason, when I was little, those three had like a certain like tiny movement,
chaotic energy.
Yeah, like that like switched off my like primal brain that like this was like a threat. Anyway, they'd always chase me.
You're like an elephant seeing a mouse. That's what.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
Yeah. Anyway, like I don't know, like, and you'd have those. For me, like I'd scream and then I'd try to punch them, but it would never work.
And it's slow.
Yeah.
I don't know how we've gone this deep into the episode without talking about pillow punches.
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're asleep
dude.
and you're trying to punch someone in your dream, and you just, no matter how hard you hit them, it does no damage. That's never happened to you, Arian?
Never had a pillow punch. I tried to punch my pillow.
No, it's just like you're having a fight in your dream, like a physical altercation with someone in your dream, and you throw a punch and it does zero damage.
Oh yeah, and you like, sure, I know I got hands like that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I wake up so angry, like it ruins my day when I'm thinking of like, I want to go find that person and just fight them, win or lose, just to know I inflicted some actual damage.
That and death in dreams freaks me out. Like how you automatically wake up when you die because you don't know what
when
dying
you fall,
is like.
When you're falling.
That freaks me out. Why can't your brain make up death? It can make up everything else.
I've died in a dream before. I've
actually followed through with it.
But like, how did you die?
I forget the exact circumstance. I've definitely fallen and hit the ground. And
you've done that?
Yeah. You've hit the ground in a dream and died.
not woken up immediately?
Yeah.
You've gotten the falling sensation.
Yes.
Hit the ground.
Yes.
And then not
and you died.
Like, felt like you broke your neck. Correct. Or what?
No, everything went black in my dream, and then my body felt like it was floating.
Did you wake up?
You simulated death.
Wow. Yeah.
Cap. I'm calling Cap.
Billy, no, you don't call Cap. You don't get to say Cap.
I get to call Cap.
No, I'm calling Cap on you for trying to call Cap on me.
You can't survive.
Ooh, a double cap.
Yeah, double cap, Billy.
Cap.
Smell my cap detector's off the charts right now on Billy. You don't get to tell me what I did not dream about.
That's insane.
Yeah, no, I've died several times in my dreams.
What? So you didn't wake up from it. What happened after you floated away?
I thought I could feel my body floating through space. It felt like it was like a thick type of air around me, like a zero gravity, like float around. And then I swear to God, I started to hear the most beautiful classical music, playing beautiful classical music chords, like a full orchestra, a string orchestra, playing a very pleasing melody.
I believe him.
And that's how I remember it happening.
PFT has seen death and
that's what I'm saying.
Come back.
What if, bro?
I would
have cracked the code.
I'll put it this way: if that's what death is like, then I'm not afraid of death at all, because it felt very calming and pleasing, and I was okay with everything that was going on at the time. And I knew the thing is, though, I did have like a conscious realization of like, I'm dead.
Okay, have you ever died before? Like halfway?
Like heart stops?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think that's something you kind of know.
Maybe you have and you don't know.
Maybe that
you believe in reincarnation?
No, maybe that's okay, not spoiler alert, but Outer Banks season 2, lot of almost deaths happening.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. A lot of almost deaths. Maybe PFT has maybe you had like a mini heart attack, like for real in your dream, and that was actually real, and that was you actually dying, and then you and your heart restarted.
I've been on the operating table several times. I've had surgery, so who knows what happens when you're put under the
That's a whole nother thing.
Because if you're under the anesthesia,
Oh, well, people talk about like they see themselves on the.
Yeah.
I've never
I think
done
that's
that.
cap too. Yeah, I think that's cap. But once again, I just have to mention the time right before you fall asleep when they're putting you to sleep for anesthesia. It's the greatest drug on earth.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing.
It is nice.
They had to give me extra when I had surgery because I was actively telling them that they couldn't put me to sleep, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's the
You were
hardest I've
fighting it?
ever fought. Yeah, and they told me when I woke up, they were like, you did better than most people do, actually.
I agree that you should, because the anesthesiologist, then it's like a challenge. You're
Yeah.
like, bro, this shit, it's not gonna work, bro. And so they give you more probably, and it just feels so good. It's like the most I've gotten. They usually tell me to count down backwards from 100. I got to 88 one time, which is way more than usual. Yeah, I got to 88.
There was one time I was coming out of surgery, and I was talking to the nurse that was attending me as I was waking up, and the first thing I remember saying to her was, I bet you anything I'm going to remember this conversation. She's like, no, you're not. No chance in hell. And I was like, yes, I am. I'm going to will myself to remember this conversation that we're having right now. And then she goes, yeah, but you're not going to remember what you just told me 5 minutes earlier. And I was like, oh, fuck. And gave me the word. She gave me Sunday scaries coming out of an operation. And then, like, I just had tremendous anxiety for, like, the next several hours being like, oh, no, what did I say to this lady that's doing nothing but sitting here trying to help me feel okay? She eventually told me later on that I was just not making sense with anything that I was saying. But she was trying to make me feel bad about it.
Shout out to her.
Shout out her. You got to have some fun at your job. I guess, is that weird that I died in my sleep?
That's really weird. That's like really, really weird. No
I've
offense.
never heard of that. Yeah. I mean, every time I've always fallen from a fall place, I wake
wake
wakes
up.
me
You
up.
usually, because when you fall asleep and your muscles relax totally, that's when you get that falling sensation. Where you jolt up.
Yeah.
And that happens when that's what causes the falling dreams. And you always wake up. I've been getting a lot of twitching falling asleep.
Like right when you fall asleep, you twitch.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
And it wakes you up. That shit's annoying.
It always
Yeah.
happens on Sundays.
Interesting. I think that's your version of Sunday Scaries.
It's not just you, Billy. Everyone only twitches on Sunday.
My brain forgets to breathe sometimes when I'm about to fall asleep. That'll wake me up and make me think I'm dying. That's great. And just yesterday, I twisted my ankle sleeping.
In bed.
Oh, yeah. I took a nap. I woke up, severely twisted ankle. I've got a brace on today. I wish I was joking. It very much hurts.
Well, you were laying down?
What?
Yeah. I like fuck up my shoulder like 3 times a year sleeping. I don't know what happens, but
shoulder makes sense because you can sleep on it and blood. But how you fuck your ankle up, G?
I mean, I've had terrible ankles my whole life. Like I've tore all the ligaments and tendons off both of them on different occasions. So I think it's just like, I don't know. I woke up and I just couldn't walk. It was very painful. Still very painful.
That's odd.
Jesus.
Yeah. Didn't care for it.
Do you have sleep apnea, PFT?
I don't have sleep
I'm
apnea.
reading that people with sleep apnea are more prone to have a dream where they die and like know that they died instead of.
Oh,
waking up.
nasal strips are fire. Speaking of, like, you want to up your sleep game? Like, I busted my nose recently, like had deviate buckled septum, and I've been using sleep strips, and it's just like fall asleep so much faster, feel like have way better sleep. Like, they're awesome. Just wanted to shout out breath strips.
Do you get better dreams?
Yeah, because I get deeper into sleep because I'm not like
More oxygen?
yeah.
No, to answer your question, Big T, I don't think I have sleep apnea. I don't like suffer from
You would
breathing
know.
issues during my sleep. I don't
A
think.
lot of mixed results on here on people saying you can and cannot die in your dreams, but obviously you have.
Whatever Reddit says, let's go with that.
Do you guys like sleepy time tea?
Yes.
Kind of
I don't know what that
a
is.
little different than probably what you're talking about.
You know the sleepy time bear?
Yeah.
Well, the sleepy time bear is canceled. No, it turns
I have
out the
no
people.
idea.
So I used to love this tea, and I was trying to make it like a joke where I send a picture, like I tweet a picture of the sleepy time bear while I'm drinking my sleepy time tea at night. But then someone told me that the sleepy time like the celestial seasonings that make these herbal teas. Their founder was just like this crazy dude who believed in this like Scientology type New Age Bible, and was just like totally like racist, anti-Semitic, bad. He was like, this Urantia book was like said to be authored by aliens, but it was likely authored in the early 1900s by a psychiatrist named William Sadler, who used it as a vessel for his racist ideas. So like there I was like posting like this Sleepy Time bear, which is just like funny. It turns out it is just like some totally like just tweeting that bear. People know who I'm talking about for us, the Sleepy Time cult people.
This bear is just begging for trouble. He's dead asleep, open flame everywhere, cat right near the kettle. Like, this house is begging to burn down.
Oh, yeah. This is not fire safe at all.
It's like one of those things they show you in science class where they're like, name the 6 things that are wrong with this lab.
Don't be like the bear.
But that bear sleeped.
It's hibernating, yeah. Well, we do have to wrap things up right here because I think that we're going to get another show coming into this podcast studio. So,
Underwear.
Arian, underwear. You got it last week.
Did
you get 2 in a row?
No, you didn't get last week. You weren't here.
After you had to leave.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Let's go. Are you doing the Vol underwear today?
Is that your guess?
That's my guess.
No, I think it's gray.
Is it a diaper to match the juice box?
Oh, it is. It is gray.
You had a juice box.
Damn.
Too, pal.
It is gray.
Drink your juice.
I'm not ashamed of drinking out of a juice
Drink
box.
your juice.
I drink my juice.
Drank the juice.
We all drank the
Hypocrite.
juice. We all drank the Kool-Aid today. Thanks for listening to Macrodosing. Hit us up in the DMs. Tell us we're handsome. Tell us what we can do better, what we can do worse.
You guys are all so handsome for following us and getting us to 10K on August 1st.
Thank you for following us. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Smash the like button on YouTube. Smash the subscribe button. And we will see you all next week. Love you guys.